the sparklers ready to rock? Here we go, day 3 of the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. Fresh off the printing presses, we got the Trump J.D. Vance Make America Great Again signs, and we are joined by one of J.D. Vance's colleagues in the Senate, the great Senator Steve Daines, who will be welcoming in a Republican majority, hopefully in just a few months.
That is the plan. I told President Trump when I first got elected to this position back in early 23, I said, Mr. President, the most important thing we can give you is a robust America First Senate majority. And here's why. The first call you make after you're elected president is to the Senate majority leader. Imagine for a moment calling Chuck Schumer up and talking about how we're going to do the Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, Secretary of Treasury, Director of CIA, Supreme Court justices. It's a non-starter. The most important thing we do for President Trump, give him the United States Senate to work with him.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, the only reason that President Trump has seen so many legal victories is because the Senate held strong on the confirmations of Kavanaugh and a number of incredible Supreme Court justices that was able to return the court to the Constitution.
Look, we've got to remind these voters in states like Montana, like Ohio, like Pennsylvania, like Wisconsin, that, well, like Nevada, these incumbent Democrats, they voted to impeach Trump twice, to convict him twice. They voted against every one of Trump's Supreme Court justices. They voted against his tax cuts. They're all trying to cozy up to Trump right now. Because in a state like Montana, Trump's up by 20 points. John Tester is about on the verge of endorsing Donald Trump right now when he voted to impeach him.
John Tester is cooked, boy, right? Like, he's cooked.
I like our chances, I'll tell you. You know,
okay.
I've told many around here in Milwaukee that I will buy a full tank of gas for Air Force One. Let's bring Joe and Kamala out to Montana and bring John Tester on the stage. Good luck with that. We'll have 8 people show up to the rally in Montana. But I tell you what, John Tester wants to run as far away as he can, as does Sherrod Brown, as do these Senate Democrats, because they know these policies of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have failed this nation, and the people want to see a big change.
So Republicans get the Senate back. There will no longer be a leader McConnell. There will be someone else. What's that race shaking up to be? That's something that is very important, because what we always hear in the chat is, okay, we gave Republicans the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and we didn't get a wall. All right, we got some tax cuts that are going to expire. We need a Senate that actually is like rock-ribbed and ready to rock with Trump.
Look, Benny, when we take back majority control, it's time to swing the bat hard. You don't get these opportunities often. Sometimes it's just a few times in a generation. And we've got to make these tax cuts permanent. No more expirations. We've got to go build the wall. We've got to shut down that southern border and stop the 10 million illegals that have come across the southern border. But my
Pass
focus,
the SAVE Act?
Pass the SAVE Act. We've got to lock down how voting should work in this country going forward. It requires valid IDs. And citizenship, is that a radical idea? You got to be a U.S. citizen to vote. It's a radical idea if you are a Democrat right now.
Would you vote for confirmation of the Secret Service head right now, Kimberly Cheadle?
I just announced she needs to resign her position. It's over. What a massive failure in protections. It absolutely was. You know, I'm a long-range shooter. I do a lot. You know, in Montana, you measure your guns by the number of gun safes, not guns. You know, that was a 130-yard shot. That is a layup. That is a layup. By the grace of God, that shooter missed the president.
Yes. Would you be in favor of a special committee, like the January 6th committee, to investigate this? A special committee with subpoena power, full authority, lawyers, appropriations, to get into, like, how did somebody get a headshot on a president?
Absolutely. Look, we were a quarter-inch away from this week being a memorial service versus a Republican National Convention. Can you imagine what would have happened? With the Democrats in complete chaos right now, the world in chaos, imagine had President Trump's life been taken. This puts us into a whole new world that I don't think we've seen as a nation. So, again, thank God his life was spared. We grieve with the fire chief's family who lost his life. But heads need to roll. Heads need to roll the Secret Service.
Yes. So, Senator, I know you have a heart out. I know you're a very busy man. I know you got a lot doing here at the convention. Give our audience one quick takeaway from the convention that you've seen. I know you're a favorite of President Trump. You're close with him. What's going on?
I just got to tell you, I think Monday night, when the president came into the arena, is a night I will never, ever forget. I mean, Lee Greenwood singing God Bless the USA. If there wasn't a tears in our eyes. Now, you know, I talked to Don Jr. last night. I said, I think your allergies were kicking in a little bit, Don Jr. He says, yeah, maybe.
He was crying, bro.
Look, it was a moment. If you're not crying, you don't have a soul. I mean, it was very, very moving. And we just thank God that his life was spared. God has plans for him, for this next administration, absolutely to lead this country. Let's make America great again.
Very quickly, J.D. Vance, full endorsement?
Full endorsement.
That's
J.D.
right.
Vance is a great pick. He's going to appeal to the J.D. Vance is going to appeal to what we call the lunch bucket Democrats. First U.S. Marine to ever serve as vice president, Semper Fi.
There we go. Boom, baby. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live at the Benny Show here with Benny Brews. We encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, to get ready for a man who you all know well. The man who is the monster hiding in the closet of Christopher Wray. When Merrick Garland wets his pants at night, it's because he was dreaming about our next guests. And it's very, very bad. The nightmare of the deep state, the Biden administration. And if Joe Biden had a functional brainstem, he'd also be scared of Kash Patel. Joe Biden wears a diaper for a very different reason than Merrick Garland. But the great Kash Patel on the show!
That is hard to follow.
Okay. All right, we have breaking news. Joe Biden has tested positive for COVID, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Biden has tested positive for the virus that Dr. Fauci created. So blame Dr. Fauci. Well, there it is. That's the breaking news.
Well, it's the setup. We saw it. The Biden administration just put out before this positive test that if he were to have a medical incident, he would consider opting out of the race. They are working to take him out. COVID is step one, and then they're going to have step two.
Wow. Okay, so see, Kash, this is why we love you so much, and this is why the audience just adores you.
I just made it up.
Well, you just brought us there, right?
Yeah.
That's such a great point. So is this going to be the medical emergency? He had a flu, now he has COVID.
And then next he's going to have some sort of malfunction, and then he's going to pardon his son. He's going to pardon his brother. He's going to pardon himself. Because remember, presidential pardons aren't just good for retroactive criminal investigations. Presidential pardons are good for prospective criminal investigations. So you can basically give yourself carte blanche for your entire family so that you can never be prosecuted, your family can never be prosecuted for any investigation the president determines in that pardon.
So you think are we in the end game here?
I mean, we were in the end game a long time ago when Donald J. Trump decided to run again.
Yeah, okay. Yes. But do you believe, so the news out this morning was that the DNC is going to do a digital convention in 2 weeks. And I was saying, no, man, they're cooked. They're stuck with Biden because in 2 weeks they're not going to be able to. Michelle Obama can't go, stomping in there in 2 weeks. But you're saying that you think that Biden's in the end game. They're going to do the swap.
I think they're going to do the swap, but the problem they have is the Biden-Harris ticket has raised all the money. And I know the Democrats ignore the federal election campaign finance laws. They don't care. They break them all the time. But all that money is set under law to those two individuals alone. They cannot transfer it. So unless Harris remains on some sort of ticket, that money is frozen and cannot be transferred to the DNC.
Wow. So tell me something. And this is something that I have asked you before, because you have been the most right. Do we have any Kash Patel fans out there? Correct me if I'm wrong here, ladies and gentlemen. Kash Patel has been the most right commentator in America, this side of Tucker Carlson, I think, is Kash Patel. Kash, you said on our program, on our airwaves, they will try and assassinate Donald Trump. We looked it up. You said this 6 months ago on our program. You said they've tried assassinations. They may try a physical assassination, is your exact language. You seem to have been proven right once more.
I wish I was dead wrong. I wish I would never have to utter such a thought that in 2024 they were going to not just shoot at, but shoot the Republican nominee and the likely president of the United States coming this election. And that's the landscape we're in. Remember, the rhetoric that the Democrats and the radical left-wing media have created over years, not a day, over years, are what gave us this shooter. They called Donald Trump Hitler. They called his movement equivalent to the Nazi regime. These people go out online and they get radicalized from these statements over years because they think it's acceptable to then go out and later take force upon themselves to break the law and try an assassination attempt. And what does the left do? You have a congressional staffer that literally, from Benny Thompson's staff, came out and said, I wish basically he didn't miss. Then you have Jack Black down in Australia going out, well, we'll take better aim next time. They think that that sort of verbiage is okay because that's what they want to be true.
Benny Thompson, who wants to strip Secret Service from Trump.
He actually, yeah, most people don't know this, but he has a legislative bill that's still on the books from 6 months ago to strip Donald Trump of secret security protection. All of it, not some of it, to completely, they want him without protection.
Ladies and gentlemen, do we want to hear what Kash Patel is going to do when he's Attorney General in a Trump administration to clean up this absolute tire fire of a wreck? I think I speak for every red-blooded American when I say no president, no presidential candidate, no matter who they are, should get a headshot when they're under protection of the Secret Service or ever, of course. Yeah. And we grieve for the family of Corey Compantore, who actually took a bullet for Donald Trump. That brave man and firefighter, may God rest his soul. Yeah. How do we, if given the power and oversight of the Secret Service, I guess in maybe a special capacity by the president or at DHS, which you have worked with before, how would you begin to reform so that we never have to wake up to this news again?
So in my opinion, we need to start now, not wait until Donald Trump's elected. And we cannot have the Republican majority in the House go to the American public and say, which they have, let FBI and DOJ do their jobs and run this investigation. No, the FBI and DOJ abdicated that responsibility when they unlawfully and illegally surveilled President Trump, when they unlawfully and illegally surveilled 278,000 Americans using FISA authority illegally and got caught. They are not capable or credibly authorized to investigate this. So Speaker Johnson has the mandate. He can set up a select committee tomorrow, overnight. I wrote an op-ed on what to do, how to run that investigation. You bring in private personnel and government personnel. You start sending out subpoenas, and you have the will of the American people like you've never had before to break through this kind of investigation. And I told him, I said, hey, if you want somebody to do it, I'll run it for free.
Boom. Who wants to see Kash in charge of this investigation? Obviously. The man who actually exposed Russiagate to all of us, and again has been the most right man in all of bureaucratic history in Washington, D.C. So again, where would you begin? Let's say that it sounds like this committee with a subpoena power and investigative power and a budget is going to happen. Yeah. Mike Johnson was pretty pissed off on Fox News this morning, saying that they're going to keep Cheadle from us. Kimberly Cheadle, the Secret Service director, is being blocked from testifying by DHS. Seems like a cover-up, smells like a cover-up, smells like they're trying to cover their behinds here. Mm-hmm. How would you get through that wall?
It's simple. Government gangsters operate on the pocketbooks of American taxpayer dollars. So you freeze their fancy G5 jets. You ground them. Chris Wray's not allowed to take another flight until he turns over every single document that is subpoenaed by this committee. And those documents don't come in redacted and classified formats. They get sent out to the American people as soon as they hit the congressional offices. You take away Merrick Garland's new fleet of Escalades and his junkets to Europe that are funded by the taxpayer dollar until he complies. You do the same with Secret Service. Are you telling me, and I'm telling you direct evidence, that Donald Trump's Secret Service package had requested augmented security for months and months and months? And what does the Secret Service director do, Cheadle, after the day President Donald Trump was shot? She comes online and says that's an abject lie. Great. You know what I want? Every single memorandum from the Secret Service declining that so the American people can be shown that she is just another government gangster weaponizing justice. And that's a starting point. If you want to know the rest, come watch my movie tomorrow, the world premiere of Government Gangsters, right down the hall there, 2 p.m., Miller High Life Theater, world premiere, warroom.film. Steve Bannon made this movie the day before he went into prison. He finished it. We are deconstructing the deep state. We're demolishing the deep state. And we are rebuilding this constitutional republic behind Donald Trump. Come check out Government Gangsters, the film.
Yes.
Selfish plug, yes, buy my book. Send it to a Democrat.
How many snipers do you know?
Lots.
Yeah, you were in charge of the Department of Defense. How many snipers do you know? I mean, yeah. How melted down was your phone? because I know mine was, and I don't have nearly the pedigree you do with the defense industry. And my phone was incapable of managing all the texts I got incoming from people who've served in the military, snipers who've trained with the Secret Service, saying something catastrophic happened here, and many of them questioning whether the level of incompetence borders on malevolence.
Look, I had every Tier 1 operator basically I ever served with on SEAL Team 6 and Delta reach out to me saying, what is going on? Not only that, they all came in and said, we will quit our day jobs right now and be the protection package for Donald J. Trump. That's how committed they are to protecting this president, and that's how committed everyone should be. And I'm not blaming, and I never will fault Donald Trump's Secret Service package. They were working with limited resources. They were doing the best they could. They were denied multiple times augmented security, and you can only cover so much area with so much manning. Now, obviously, there was a catastrophic failure, but we can't jump to conclusions. That's why we need this committee. We can't have people speculating about why someone took a shot at our president and hit him. We have to get the ground truth, and the Biden administration is another cover-up operation from these government gangsters because they don't want you to know before the election that it was the Biden administration, that it was Cheadle, that it was Mayorkas, who Cheadle reports to, that denied the security package and subjected Donald Trump to assassination attempts that almost succeeded. If it weren't for the God's glory, maybe a wisp of wind, and Donald Trump turning his head at that exact moment.
That is exactly correct. I think it's the most viewed miracle that in world history. So that being said, it'd be nice to not have to depend on miracles. It'd be nice to depend on competence, since you're so close with the Trump team, and since obviously Donald Trump trusts you with his security, domestically and globally, technically. Can you confirm that the Trump team asked for more security and resources? That's been something that's been floated, and the Secret Service is like, no way, they didn't do that.
Well, look, it's widely reported from many sources that the Trump team made that statement. I'm not going to speak for the Trump team. I'm not on the Trump campaign, and I don't want to get ahead of them. What I want is what President Trump wants. I want a unifying factor, and the unifying factor is a unique opportunity to deliver the truth for the American people in the most difficult of times. I mean, this is equivalent to a terrorist attack, somebody trying to take out our president and our likely next president of the United States. So again, I don't want to jump to conclusions. What I want to do is get a committee stood up immediately to start disseminating information as soon as it comes in. Because Trump said it best. We have an opportunity here to unify the country, Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, Green Party, because they are craving government accountability. They are craving answers. And if we deliver the truth for them, not only will Donald Trump show the American people the truth, but he will deliver the truth on November 5th, and the American people will say, we are putting you in the Oval Office.
Final question for you, Cash, and I think it's very important since you've created an entire brand around gangsterism. Many people are saying that Donald Trump, whilst Donald Trump was considered a gangster, and actually Mac Miller's rap entitled Donald Trump went multiple platinum, and Donald Trump's probably the most name-dropped American in all rap across like all the entire record industry. Nonetheless, Donald Trump's a bit of a gangster. When Donald Trump comes walking in to the Republican convention, this is a very like gangster badass look for him. And there's many people saying in my timeline that they never dreamt of voting for Donald Trump. They were either going to sit it out or they hated Trump. And there's something that happened, something miraculous that happened when he got up and he said, fight, fight, fight. And the world changed right there.
It was the most powerful moment that I've ever seen. I was just with the president. I'll share you a personal story real quick. As soon as I heard he was shot, I didn't know what to do. And so I took my phone out and called him like an idiot, expecting he was – I didn't know what to do. And I was panicking like everybody else. And then I saw him wave his fist. And look, the Greeks had the gods, but they also had the titans. And Donald Trump is a warrior titan. He demolishes government gangsters. He demolishes the deep state. He wrecks the fake news and destroys the radicalized form of government. That is only something that a warrior titan can do. And when I saw the president just now for the first time down the street, literally an hour ago, you know what he said to me?
Please.
As soon as I walked into the room to see him, he goes, Cash, I called you back. And I missed his phone call.
Wait a second. So you called the president as soon as you saw the shot?
Yeah. I didn't know what else
to do.
And
he called you back?
And
you sent him to voicemail?
You know, the Chinese are in my phone, so they probably disrupted the signal.
Both Don and Eric, Laura were up here. They said they called him in the hospital and that he was joking with them. He was telling jokes The president was laughing. Don Jr. told us that the first thing that Trump said was, they didn't mess up my hair. He didn't get my hair. That's what he said. That's what Don Jr. said.
You know, look, and as you know the president so well, and I was fortunate and blessed to know him so well and continue to do so, and that resolve shows the American public that he wasn't worried about himself in that moment. He was worried about showing America that he's okay, that he's not bending the knee, and that he cared more about his team. After getting shot in the head, he cared more about asking about his family, his friends, and his staff, and he took the time to make you feel better in the wake of tragedy. There's no other human being on planet Earth that can deliver the Titan-style American offense that Donald Trump has created here. And I will help him every single day until November 5th to deliver on that message. And you know what we need? We need a legion of Americans like we've never seen before, not just here at the RNC, to show up in droves for Donald Trump, to show up in droves for the constitutional republic, because it has been ripped from us by these government gangsters.
Yes.
And so I will deliver. The movie's a piece of it. Government Gangsters, 2 p.m. tomorrow. Miller High Life Arena, warroom.film. Buy your own copy. And please buy 100 copies of Government Gangsters and send it to Watermelon Head's office in Congress.
All right. Who's ready to see Cash Patel in charge of a select committee looking into the Secret Service? Thank you.
my brother.
Godspeed, man.
Good to see you, brother.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live here with the Benny Show. I am here to welcome on stage the great Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Governor of Arkansas. We got some Razorbacks in the audience. They were so excited to see you. They're ready to go.
The Razorbacks are the best.
What an incredible speech.
Thank you very much.
What an amazing speech.
Thank
the
you.
The line that made the hair stand up on everyone's arm was, God protected this man. And I know that you've seen that up close, obviously, traveling with him to war zones, traveling across the world with him to very dangerous places, actually. Baghdad in the middle of the night, is that correct?
Yes, on Christmas.
So you've seen Donald Trump under fire, but now it's a very different fire. And I want to just get your immediate take. When you saw that, did you say instantly, and you knew the president was alive, did you say instantly, this is the hand of God, this is a miracle?
I don't think there's any way you could watch that and not have that be your takeaway. I mean, the first thing was fear, and I mean, that was a terrifying moment to see unfold. And it took a little while before we had confirmation that the president was okay. But once we got there, I don't know how anybody watches that and doesn't walk away saying that God is not finished with him, and we know that he has a job to do, and we're glad he's willing to do it. Sorry, I got hot mic.
Yes. Sarah Sanders goes hot sometimes on the microphone. I think we've all seen it, and Jim Acosta's still crying. But that must have been, I mean, I guess taking a step back, and I don't want to get too personal here, because I know you have a very personal relationship with the president. But that must have ripped your heart out seeing that, Sarah.
You know, it was incredibly hard to watch. I talked to the president on the phone, and I told him, I said, you know, I worked for you for 2.5 years in the White House, a year on the campaign, and that was the first time you truly brought me to tears. It was horrifying to see. So much so, you know, my kids were there, and I had to take a moment and ask them to step out for a second so I could process, but also think about how I was going to talk to them about it. Because this was a moment that I think so many Americans will look back, and it'll be one of those things that you say, I know exactly where I was when I saw it, when I watched it, and relived it over and over and over again. And I wanted the right words to be able to tell my kids, and certainly that was also the goal last night. But I think the message is God spared his life, and he did so for a reason, and it's so that he can take the White House back and take our country back and continue to move us forward, and that's exactly what I think is going to happen in November.
Oh, it's so incredibly powerful. I get chills. Everybody got chills at that speech. That was an amazing speech, Sarah.
Thank you.
So you have been the voice of the president, right? The very few people who say I'm the spokesperson for the president,
hold on.
right?
Nobody's the voice of Donald Trump. He certainly does that all on his own, but I was happy to be a helper in that process.
Some would say you had a legendary run behind the podium. I've seen the ratings. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. In the history, in no one's life was must-see TV, the White House briefing.
For better or worse.
Yes,
you know?
right. So if you wouldn't mind putting that hat on right now once again and just just talking about this moment, because there is something remarkable happening that I don't have words for, I guess, Sarah. And given the fact that you're so good at this, everyone's saying Trump looks different.
Oh.
Everyone's saying that he looks so peaceful. And there's almost like a change has happened. And the energy here, if you look around, look around here, the energy is incredible. It's so uplifting. It's so optimistic. It has a spiritual energy to it. Perhaps you could tell the people watching at home, the hundreds of thousands watching at home, like what is this? What is going on right now?
I don't know how any person can go through what he did on Saturday and not be changed and not be impacted and not have that kind of moment of realization that I'm here for a reason. And I think when he walked in to the convention hall on Monday, you saw that in his face, you saw it in his eyes, but it was also a very energizing moment. There was kind of this somber feel for a second as he was standing in the hallway before he stepped into the main arena, and the cameras panned onto him and he had this kind of serious look. And as he stepped in, the place just erupted and went absolutely wild. And it meant more. It did, because he was once again reminding us of his strength, of his resilience, of his courage. We saw that on Saturday. I got to see it every day when I worked for him. And to see him step onto that floor, it gave every single American something to be proud of, something to cheer for, and it was an incredible thing.
Whew. Did anybody get some flashbacks from the press? Did anybody get flashbacks? Sarah in the binder?
No, because this is friendly. So
yeah, that's right.
Totally
Oh, no,
totally
but I'm
different.
getting flashback. Sarah in the binder, and she puts the binder down, and Jim Acosta in the front row. I'm in danger.
You know, the binder's really
Ralph Wiggum.
just a decoy.
So marching forward through November, you're obviously in charge of one of the hottest states in America right now.
Absolutely. Let's hear it. Raise your rats. Go Arkansas.
You look at
Yeah.
Arkansas in the
There you
house.
go.
All
Yeah.
right. You're in charge of a state that has a booming economy, has school choice and freedom, protects children, protects parents. You've been on a roll. And a lot of people are saying this is the blueprint, right?
I think so. You forgot they also have a great governor, and so yeah, it's making a big difference. But
Well, that's implied, of course, Governor.
We've had an amazing year and a half. I've been in office just a short time, but we've already been able to do remarkable things in Arkansas. We've cut taxes not once, not twice, but 3 times, giving money and putting it back into the pockets of hardworking Arkansans at a time where they need it the very most, because we have a federal government that is insistent on putting the burden on the backs of our people. And so we're trying to provide relief everywhere we can, making sure we focus on getting rid of things like CRT and indoctrination, empowering parents with universal school choice that we passed in Arkansas last year. We were also the first and only state in the country to kick China off of our farmland, out of our state, and fine them for doing it.
So in governor's news, Governor, there was something pretty shocking that happened one day ago, 24 hours ago, with the governor of California. The governor of California signed into a bill that essentially strips the rights away from parents to parent their own children.
It's insane.
Now, this has caused some major shockwaves. Elon Musk is a very famous individual, one of the most followed men on planet Earth, and he says, I am now officially taking all of my businesses out of California. He's also the father of, I think, 10 kids.
Oh.
And so this is, of course, a horrific thing, but this is what's happened. This is reality in blue states. One, obviously, elections matter, but 2, what's your message to Californian parents that are like, I don't want the state to take my children, right, from me being a parent?
I think the message is really simple. Move to Arkansas, where you will never have that problem, because we're not going to tolerate that kind of stuff in our state. In fact, we have seen a vast influx of people. Arkansas is ranked in the top 5 of people moving from California into our state. Now, I like to remind them, don't forget why you left California. We don't want any of that in our state.
Yes.
So don't bring that with you when you come, but we'll happily take your business, help empower your families and your parents. And Arkansas is open for business, and we welcome them there.
All right. And because it's a parent's question, I have to ask. And since you, one of the first things, what Sarah saying, firstborn child's name is Eloise, and even though she had a lot of things to do, she sent me Eloise at the Plaza, the book, and it's still one of my daughter's favorite books ever. There's a message from Sarah Sanders right in the cover.
Well, you have beautiful children. So.
I have to ask about your family and how everything is going. The transition into the governor's mansion, we haven't really spoken much since.
Our kids are taking that place by storm, where we're shaking things up in the Capitol. They are definitely shaking things up at the governor's mansion. I have a 12-year-old daughter and then 2 boys that are 10 and 9, and so we do chaos really well at our house. I always say it was the best prep for the White House briefing is to be a parent, because we are really good at saying no over and over and over again and answering the same question nonstop. And so it prepped me very well for that. But our kids are doing amazing. I could not be more proud of all 3 of them. It's the best job that I have in the whole world, is to be mom to Scarlett, Huck, and George. And I'm just trying to do the best I can, like every parent out there, and make sure that they get to grow up and inherit the America that I grew up in, that I love so much, that still appreciates and will do anything to preserve and protect our freedom. And so proud to be their mom.
That's the energy right there, man. If we had more politicians that thought like that about children, because when you have children, you're like, wait a second, it's my obligation to leave them a good country.
Yeah.
You feel something very different as a parent, and maybe the parents feel me out there in the audience, but you feel something so different. You feel this obligation to leave a good country for your kids. What a cursed generation if you don't fight for a good country for your children.
For the first time, we're seeing where parents are worried more about their own comforts than their kids. And that is a dangerous path to go on. Something certainly we don't ever want to see implemented. It's one of the reasons that it was so important to me personally to run for office, is because I want that for my kids.
Yes.
And I want them to love this country and understand what makes it so great. It's not just because we have opportunity and all these things. It's because we have people that are willing to literally put their lives on the line to defend and protect our freedom so that everybody gets to enjoy it. People literally, I always remind people, be so thankful that we live in a country people are trying to break into and not break out of. That is what makes America special and sets us apart. And our kids deserve to grow up there too.
Yes, that's exactly right. And we should end those break-ins, actually. So, just one more question about the past, and then I want to fast forward to the future. Just really quickly. The Red Hen is this restaurant
I didn't think we were bringing that up again.
that Sarah tried to eat at one time. I don't know if you remember the story. And the owner came and was like, I don't want any MAGA in here, right? We don't serve your type. Get out of here, right? And
all in the name of tolerance, right?
That's right. The lib owner chased you out because she's like, I don't serve your kind. It's unbelievable. It was a big story, and it made a lot of headlines, and they just went out of business. So I just want to throw it up there. I don't know if you have a comment on it.
I can't say I was sorry to see them go.
Okay. Okay, so that's the past. Here's the present. Any advice for cringe Jean-Pierre?
I'm sorry? Oh, I can't give advice for that.
Corinne Jean-Pierre?
I don't know. I think it's one of the hardest jobs in the White House. And I don't know how she gets up there every day, because at least I had a good story to tell. I had a president who cared about the country, who was doing things that mattered, that impacted American families. And she doesn't have that. And it is a total epic failure and disaster. And so it's no surprise that she, too, is a total epic disaster.
You know, and you also had a huge advantage on her, which is that your president was awake. He wasn't napping.
I don't know. Part of me is probably thankful that he's not awake longer, because imagine the amount of damage he could do if he worked a 20-hour day like Donald Trump did.
This is very, very true. So, moving forward to the future. November. We got to get there, right?
No.
Many reporters are saying there's this sense of victory already, right? And there's a sense of inevitability, is what the AP wrote about it. I couldn't believe that word. But complacency is not something you want in politics. Can you give us a defining message for Donald Trump through November, through this wall, okay? Given everything that's happened, and your pitch for the president?
you know, you're right. You don't take anything for granted in politics. But I think Donald Trump gave us his own message. And he did it on Saturday when he put his hand in the air after he was literally shot by an assassin. He put his hand up, stood back up on his feet, and reminded America that nothing will keep us down as long as he is leading this country. And it was a perfect picture of why he's going to win in November. He is going to wipe the floor with Joe Biden or whoever else it is that they may put up. He will be president, and he will get elected in November, and we're not going to stop until it happens.
That's it right there. Would you be in favor of the new campaign slogan? The new campaign slogan, Trump, Vance, bulletproof.
I like it.
Okay, just a thought. Just a thought. Just free. The great governor of Arkansas,
Thank you.
Sarah
Thank y'all.
Huckabee Sanders. God bless you. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't she incredible? Just amazing. I miss her at the press podium so much. But cringe Jean-Pierre is so entertaining. There's also somebody who's very entertaining who's joining the program right now. Congresswoman Salazar from the great state of Florida. What's going on? Look at these shoes.
Yeah, you see.
You're ready to run.
This is not Congress shoes.
You're ready to rock.
And you are more handsome in person than I saw you on television.
Oh, wow.
Wonderful. And thank you very
man.
much for the opportunity of meeting you and being, look at this audience.
That's great.
Isn't this nice?
All right, so Congresswoman, you represent something that is remarkable. You represent the, tell me if I get this correct, the only urban district.
The only urban district that is 100% urban, meaning I do not have cows or crops, and it's in the hands of a GOP.
Yes.
Because usually when the GOP members, they have some margin, like 5-10% of rural. I don't have any. But it's all right. Still, we love the American dream, and even the Dems vote for Salazar.
Yes.
Isn't that great?
So how do we get there with the rest of the country?
Well, because we know what socialism means.
Yes.
And we know what that brings to your family. Misery,
Yes.
oppression, and then exile.
Yes.
And that's why the Hispanics are coming to the GOP.
Yes.
Because like Ronald Reagan said, Hispanics are Republicans, they just do not know it. And now they're waking up, thank God, and they're knowing. 50% or more of the Hispanic population or the registered voters are going to vote GOP. Isn't that awesome?
How are you going to get that over the finish line, right? A lot of people are like, well, those numbers, we don't know if that'll actually show up at the polls. But you are so confident, and you've been on our airwaves, and you're so confident that Hispanics will break GOP. And I guess, who am I to question you because you've done it?
You know why? Because Hispanics come to this country, and sometimes they love the system more than some of the people who have been here for 2 or 3 generations. You know why? Because we have seen and experienced the other side. And the other side is dark, and it's bad, and it oppresses you. So then you are going to make sure that you're coming to this new land that you're embracing. Look at the system. Where do you see this party? This is a Democratic party. Nowhere else. People envy us for this. So then we want to preserve it. We want to buy a home, have a little shop, small business. We want to have a car. And that's the American dream. Have affordable housing, have affordable food, and you're fulfilled.
So it seems
That's
like
what the GOP promises.
It seems like such a simple message, and it looks like we're ready to have a working class ticket, a populist ticket that
Yes.
actually delivers that message.
Yes.
I know you're quite close. You're a member of Congress, so is JD. I know you're quite close with the president. He lives just up the road from you.
Yeah, that's correct.
And so how are you advising them on this from a campaign perspective? Some people thought it'd be Marco. We talked about that, actually.
We would have
Some people
wanted
thought it'd be Marco. He's your constituent.
He's my boy, but
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. J.D. Vance is the American dream, too. Why? Because if you look at his story, he comes from very, very rural, very poor area. His childhood was very hard and very harsh, and whomever goes through that type of childhood could be crushed forever. But no, the system was there for him. He had the internal fortitude to come out, and the system was waiting for him to give him the opportunity. Someone in Cuba with those characteristics would still be somewhere in poverty. But he went to law school. He went to the military, he became an entrepreneur, and now he's VP. Only in America. And I'm telling you, because I'm another American dream. Do you think that someone like me with this accent in one generation, having been born in Miami from Cuban parents who knew nothing, they didn't even know where the bathrooms were. And look, I'm a congresswoman. Where do you think that happens? Only here.
What a great.
Think about it. It's so true.
Spicy.
What's
So
true?
I
Is it
need
true?
more of that energy. I mean, I wish we had more of that in Congress. Everybody's saying that you may gain seats in the Republican majority, and there are reports right now that your Democrat colleagues are crying in fetal positions inside the DNC. There are reports that there are literal tears being shed, and they are laying on the ground saying it's doomed. So let's say that plays out. Let's take the sunny side of the street and the silver linings on the clouds and say, yo, you get a rip-roaring Republican majority, right? You get 10 more seats, right? Republicans in our audience are going to say, well, are you going to give Trump a border wall finally, right? Because we gave Trump a Republican Congress and a Senate, and we didn't get a border wall. We got tax cuts that aren't permanent. And so can you give us some insight into what Congress is going to do and ready to do with
Let's
a President
start with
Trump?
the economy. You got to bring those interests down. The same thing he did 4 years ago. What was the landscape? Low interest rates. Everyone could buy a home, right? No inflation. Energy independence. What else? People were getting bonuses during Christmas from their companies.
Yes.
People were able to buy homes. Everything was perfect or almost perfect in the economy. And then the border was closed. And we then needed to take care of those who have been here and then see what were we going to do with those people that belong to my community as well. And we need to give them some type of dignity. I think I explained that to you. Come out of the shadows, pay taxes, not necessarily path to citizenship, but allowed to have a dignified life in the promised land. All of that has been shot. The first thing we need to do is seal that border. Not only with a wall. I'm not talking about a wall. I'm talking about technology. There's a lot of technology out there. Drones and tall buildings or towers and infrared cameras and every technology that is needed in order to secure the border. That's what we need to do.
Okay. Well,
And
we'll
go
hold
back.
you to it. Yeah,
Listen,
right?
Trump proved it already. Why do you think the guy is so popular? Because people know what he did. So he's just going to do it again. But thank God that Saturday didn't change the history. And
Yes.
the Lord Almighty gave Trump another opportunity in life and on leadership.
Yes.
And this country.
Yes.
Second opportunity to this country. God is not Marxist or socialist. Yes.
I love that. You
God,
put that on a shirt.
God
We'll wear
is
that one.
good. And Marxist is darkness. And we're
Yes.
not perfect, but we want to come close to the light.
Yes. So, salt and light, we got Donald Trump. He is alive thanks to the will of God.
Of course,
I
the hand of the
personally
Almighty.
believe. And
Yes.
I think it's actually Congresswoman, I think it's the most viewed miracle in human history, actually.
Well, because
Based on
we have
technology,
we
that's
have
right.
social media.
Because that was viewed by hundreds of millions of people, maybe billions, presumably billions around the world.
Who do you think did that? The angels, the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
God, he spoke.
Yes.
The Lord spoke. Could you imagine if he would have not changed his head or moved his head?
Right.
This country would be something different than it is today. We would not be having this party.
Have you had any conversations with the president? I know
I haven't, but I've been close to people who are close to him, and they're saying that he's a lot more contemplative. I love that adjective.
Really?
Whatever that means. Yeah. You know why? I cover the war.
So he's like deeper. He's like thinking deeper, and he's feeling things more.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, sure,
If you
of
were in
course.
front of death.
Near-death experiences.
Of
This is
course.
sort of the way it goes, right?
He is a different man.
Okay.
And he will rule, or his leadership will have a different tone.
Yes.
He just said a unity. That's why he called Nikki Haley, invited her, 72 hours ago?
That's right.
She was not on the list of guests. You see, things are changing for the better.
And DeSantis too. They look like they were old. They look like they were old pals last night in the DeSantis
big
speech.
family.
Yeah. That's right.
So, and that's exactly what we need.
Okay. Well,
God is good to us.
Well, that's how you win.
Of
That's
course.
how you win.
Landslide. Everything indicates it's going to be a landslide, which
Now-
was not 2 weeks ago. This is a new scenario.
That's right. I want to ask you a question that I know is a little bit of a hot button for
Okay,
you
tell me.
because
Oh, my God.
you've gone viral on our page a few times, Congresswoman.
Have I? Why? What did I
well,
do?
you were.
What did I say?
You were spitting fire at the media.
The media, okay.
Yes,
I was
and
part of them.
because you were a reporter for decades. Yes,
35 years. I'm an old lady.
for decades.
Yeah.
And you were a member of the press. You were a very successful member of the press.
Yes.
And one of the most trusted voices in all of Florida.
Yeah.
And you have given a tongue lashing, as we'd say back home, to the press before. I've never seen anything more disgusting than how I've seen the press handle this moment. You'd think there'd be a little bit of like compassion, right, for the man who was just nearly killed on camera. You'd think they'd step back a little bit and like take a breath and stop with the vitriol and stop with the demonization.
I think that as the hours pass and the days pass, those journalists are being more and more cautious because they are seeing the reaction from the country, and they're looking at the polls. So there are three things that are happening: the polls, the fact that President Biden is feeble. Now he has COVID. Did you know that? He just
Yes,
had COVID.
Yes,
and
right.
he's feeble, and the internal discussions within the Democratic Party. So all that has the media, or the left media, or those who like Biden versus Trump, they're thinking, how are we going to respond to all these events? But that's exactly what God Almighty does. God has spoken. He has said enough. And then you'll see, because, he's the boss. When he says enough, anything could happen. So the rippling effect, we have not stopped seeing it yet. So keep on watching to see what happens.
Oh, I can't wait.
Don't you think, huh?
We are very excited about it.
This is the supernatural, Ben.
Yes,
oh,
that's
wow.
right.
Uh-huh.
Again, it is an amazing time. Yeah, you'd have to have whatever Joe Biden has, and be quite calm. I think he has like a Slurpee mix of Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and dementia, but. You'd have to
We wish him the best, but he cannot be the commander-in-chief. But that's up to. But also, look, this is the American electoral system. That's up to the Democrats. They chose him in the primaries. Who are we to say to them, that's not the man? That's up to them. Otherwise, we would be then Venezuela, that we give them a coup d'etat. No. We don't do that in this country. Just like they cannot be saying that why is Trump at the top of the ticket of the GOP? Oh, no. The primary voters decided Trump to be at the top of the ticket, whether they like it or not. That's the sacred American electoral system.
So you don't think they're going to do the swap out? You don't think Michelle Obama's going to come stomping in and be like, well, it's my party now?
I don't know about that, because that would be going against their own rules. Because remember that they always say that democracy is in danger under President Trump. So I'm saying, but wait a minute, what do you mean democracy is in danger? Well,
Until we're about to lose,
What are you guys doing? You see? So you got to play by your own rules.
That's right.
So that's what I'm saying. Hey, leave them alone. They have to follow the system, and the system says that the primary's over. Now they're going to have a convention in August.
Yes.
And it'll be up to them what to do.
Any message to Nancy Pelosi and all the Democrats crying on the floor right now? I mean, you have to work with them every day.
Welcome to the system.
Welcome.
That you
Welcome
like
to
so
the
much.
arena.
Welcome to the system.
That's right. Welcome to the arena.
It's good for you, and it's good for us.
All right. Final message here. Final question here. Give us the victory message through November. Obviously, you have won in what would be arguably one of the most competitive possible districts any Republican can run in, and you win. And you win with Democrats voting for you. And quite frankly, I think a lot of Democrats are going to vote for Trump, actually.
We are not perfect, but we're not socialist, and we love the American exceptionality, and we want to keep it.
Boom.
That's the message.
That's it. It's a beautiful message. Congresswoman
My pleasure.
Salazar, God bless
Thank
you.
you very much. And what a
All
great
right,
setup
here we
you
go.
have here. Wow.
Yeah.
You see, you're part of the American dream, too.
That's right.
You know, with a microphone and talent, look what you've been able to accomplish. How many people do you think with your same talent in our countries do not have this opportunity? So that's why we got to preserve what we have.
Right.
Make it better, but not destroy it.
Praise God.
Love to you.
All right, beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you, Congresswoman.
All right, to you.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special treat for you today. You know, we all witnessed Donald Trump literally take a bullet for this country. And we witnessed him do it and stand right back up. There's been one man who knows the human brain and the human spirit better than, I think, any man on earth. The most renowned neurosurgeon that has ever lived, and a strong ally of President Trump, who served all 4 years as a cabinet secretary in his administration in the Department of Housing and Urban Development. The great Dr. Ben Carson, a legend, joins the program now. Thank you, Doctor.
Always a pleasure to be with you.
The good doctor. That's right. How are you, sir?
I can't complain. I'm actually very enthusiastic to see the spirit of renewal and revival that's taking place right here.
Yes. I love that you use that word. Can you please unpack that? Revival.
Yes, because, you know, our country has been on a downward spiral. We've had 4 revivals in our country over our history, usually around pestilence or war. We've got both of those things going on, and we see ourselves moving downward. And they say it's always darkest before the dawn. Well, sometimes it has to be pretty dark before people can see the light. I think we're there now. I think anybody with half a brain recognizes that the course that we're on is leading us downward and not upward, and I think we're ready to turn that around. So this is America, and we are going to survive.
Yes, what a wonderful message. I saw your speech last night, as did millions at home, and it was such an awesome speech.
Thank you.
The message of unity is something that you touched on in this speech, and you didn't, you know, I've been sensing that, where it's really not, it's more about bringing the country together, and it's more about like prayerful consideration about this heightened spiritual moment that we're all living in.
Right.
And accepting what we all have in common and together, and not hating each other.
Exactly. And we should stop denying who we are.
Yes.
You know, we have people who say, you can't talk about this or that or the other. You certainly can't talk about God or religion. And yet, our founding document, the Declaration of Independence, says that our unalienable rights are given to us by our Creator, a.k.a. God. Our Pledge of Allegiance says we're one nation under God. Every coin in our pocket, every bill in our wallet says, in God we trust, and yet we're not supposed to talk about it. That's known as schizophrenia.
From the doctor himself, from the neurosurgeon himself. So I would love to have you diagnose President Trump, meaning like when you saw that injury. My wife, who's a trauma nurse, said there might be there might be hemorrhaging or concussion. There might be some type of horrible effect. She was very, very fearful about that, given the bullet and trauma that can come from bullets. When you saw that happen to the president, can you walk me through your initial reaction?
Well, of course, I was worried that maybe it had gone into his skull. And that would be a very serious problem because of the bleeding, swelling, and things that frequently lead to either death or severe compromise. But when I saw him get back up and pump his fist, I said, he is okay.
Can we do it to the crowd? You want to do a fight with Dr. Carson?
Absolutely.
Fight. That's iconic, Doctor.
And he wanted us all to know, you got nothing to worry about. It's going to take a lot more than this to get me down.
That's iconic.
That was good.
So you were of course worried from a neurosurgeon and obviously one of the world's experts on the human brain. Did you confirm with a phone call or with some type of personal communication with the president that he was okay?
Not immediately.
Of course.
But I knew he was okay.
Yeah.
You know, I've dealt with trauma to the brain for many, many years, and you can pretty much tell when somebody's okay and when they're not. It shows up pretty quickly if they're not.
Yeah. So Joe Biden's not okay, is what you're telling us.
That's a different story altogether. But his situation could be alleviated so quickly by doing a cognitive function test.
Yes.
They're very simple, very easy to assess. They ask questions like, can you count down by sevens from 100? You know, 100, 93, 86, 79, keep it like that. They'll ask you, they'll give you 3 objects, ask you to repeat them, and then talk about a couple of other things, and then come back and say, do you remember those 3 objects? That kind of thing. It's not super difficult by any stretch of the imagination, but it can give you a lot of information. And clearly, somebody who is the chief executive officer of the United States should be willing to do that. And the only reason you wouldn't be willing to do it is that you knew you couldn't pass it.
Wow. So you do not believe with your expertise that Joe Biden would pass a cognitive exam?
I do not believe so, no.
Your interactions with the president, though, at the convention, everything's good. How is the president?
You know, he seems to have a calmness.
Yes.
Please. I've been telling him for a long time that God had chosen him for a specific reason. You know, there are a lot of people who don't like him. They don't like his personality. But I got to tell you something. To become successful as a businessman, particularly in the area of real estate in Manhattan, New York, you have got to be a pretty fierce individual. And sometimes to get rid of the administrative state that has lodged itself in our government is also going to require that kind of fierceness. But what we hope will happen now is that he will learn that one doesn't have to be nasty in order to do it. One just needs to be steady and confident and talk about the actual issues. Don't necessarily talk about people. We don't need to talk about Joe Biden. Joe Biden can take care of that himself. He's self-destructing. Don't get in his way. Let him do it. But just talk about the issues. Compare the different philosophies of how you manage energy, how you manage the border, how you manage a whole host of things that affect the everyday individual, crime in the streets, all these things. And I think if you compare the two administrations side by side, any thinking person will recognize that one is superior to the other.
Dr. Carson, I wanted to pin down on something you just said. You said that President Trump is perhaps changed or more calm, and you've used the word revival here. Many are seeing these photos. We haven't heard the president speak, but many are seeing these photos of him and are saying he kind of looks a little different. And he looks like this very peaceful, like statuesque, like kind of like not like very, very different. No, I don't know how to put a word on it. I don't know how to put my finger on it, but maybe you could, since you've interacted with them, elucidate for us.
Well, when you know that God just protected you and saved your life, it gives you a certain confidence. But I think he's going to be very careful going forward because the forces of evil that want to get rid of him are still there.
Yes.
And I think he recognizes that. So it's going to require being careful. Maybe instead of just having a couple of teleprompters, having the plexiglass shields that Obama used to use. We need to really take real precautions because the other side has too much to gain from him disappearing.
Wow.
And so they're going to keep trying. And I think he knows that. He's a very smart man.
Yes. So I want to talk about a not very smart man. And if the assassination attempt by a Joe Biden donor, nobody likes to say that, but it's true. The assassination attempt hadn't occurred. Here's what I would be asking you, Doctor. When you saw Joe Biden in that presidential debate, with his mouth agape, with his eyes sort of staring off into the middle distance, incapable of really speaking the English language. And I'm not trying to be cruel here. I mean,
Right.
it really was unintelligible, sir. It's what's the best word? Untranscribable is what the president sounded like. Given your expertise, from a non-political question, like given your expertise in the human brain, can you help me? Like, what's going on in there? The whole world saw it. 100 million people watched that debate.
Well, you know, people are living longer these days than they used to. So we see a lot more people with dementia, the dementia that frequently accompanies aging. In many cases, it does not. You know, I was talking to Rupert Murdoch today, and he's like 93 years old, as sharp as a tack, talking about all kinds of international issues and how things intersect. So it has very little to do with age. This is very different in different people. And you just have to be realistic and say, you know, this person has kind of cognitive decline that affects his function and his ability to carry out whatever duties he's supposed to carry out. I mean, if you saw somebody who acted like Joe Biden when he's not doing well, and there's two Joe Bidens. There's one that's cognizant of what's going on, and another one who's way out in left field.
After 4 o'clock, sir. After 4 o'clock, doctor. The White House told us.
But if you saw somebody like that sitting in the pilot seat of the airplane you were getting ready to take, you probably get off that airplane.
Yes.
Or if you were about to go into the operating room with somebody acting like that as your surgeon, you would say, you know what, I'm just fine.
You wouldn't give them the nuclear codes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, the sad part of that is the people around him know that. They know that he is compromised intellectually, and they are willing to compromise the safety of the American people for power.
Yes.
That should tell you all you need to know about individuals who will do something like that.
Yes, it's totally and completely evil. Yeah. Final question on this topic, because I know it's tough to diagnose from a long ways away, and I understand there's some things you don't want to do when it comes to these things. You want to be accurate, but I've looked at the laws on the books, man. It seems like elder abuse. It seems like they're taking advantage of it. It seems like everybody knows, as you just said, that he's declining, and this is a wonderful time to have a sock puppet president, and we can get everything we want, and we can just put the old man out there. A good example of this is I had a grandmother in a wheelchair for her entire life, and if I had sent her to go work at a construction site, right, every day in the gravel pit, I'd be arrested for elder abuse, right? And that's like a gravel pit in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Well, we've all seen it. It's so common now because people live at advanced ages. Almost every family has seen it in some member of their family. And one of the reasons that they're keeping Biden out of sight largely is because they don't want people to say, oh, he's just like Aunt Fanny. Well, you know, he's just like Uncle Charlie.
Aunt Fanny Willis. That's right. Is she your aunt? I don't know, Dr. Carson. That would definitely be a plot twist for me.
Fanny. That's not Fanny.
Fanny, not Fanny. It's Fanny. Oh man, so much to talk about. So it is though a remarkable moment that we're living through. You're very close to the president. We know you were vetted for vice president. Everybody loves J.D. Vance. We understand that. We understand the president loves you. You've gotten this question a million times. But in the second Trump administration, is there unfinished business? Right? You were one of maybe. Am I correct, sir? You were the only cabinet secretary that was there for all 4 years.
No, there were about 4 of us who survived the whole time.
Yes, but is there unfinished business, perhaps?
There's a lot of unfinished business, and we're going to get it done using a variety of different things. The role that I play will either be within the government or outside of the government, but it will be one of support that will help us to be able to get those things accomplished.
Yes. Okay, wonderful. So you are a deeply spiritual man. You're somebody who's been able to properly assess and diagnose the state of the nation before. And can you give us a sort of closing message through November, based on what you know about our president and where we're headed as a country? What is your message for Trump in November?
Well, my message for everyone is that we need to pray that we get not only to November, but to January of 25, January the 20th.
Yes.
And, you know, we're in a situation where we have a leader that does not respond appropriately, and we have other world leaders, some of whom do not have our interest at heart, who would like to see harm come to our country.
Yes.
We have to pray that that doesn't happen. You know,
Yes.
Iran has been in power. We've made it possible for them to achieve a lot of money. And they're moving toward a nuclear weapon. And they may get it before then. And the difference between them having a nuclear weapon and some of the other countries is that they're not going to be deterred by the threat of mutual destruction. In fact, for them, if they get destroyed, they go to heaven and get 72 virgins. So they don't have the same kind of incentive as everybody else does. And they want to destroy Israel. If they get the bomb, they're going to use it. So these are real big issues, and we need to pray.
Yes.
We need to pray that we can get there until we can have the kind of leadership in this country that actually makes sense. That's all we want, common sense.
Yes.
Common sense will bring us back strong, because that's what got us there in the first place.
Very, very quickly, I know you have to go very, very quickly. Since you could have very well been on this ticket, what would you have said to Kamala Harris in a debate, Doctor?
I don't know.
Kamala Harris goes, "What'd you fall out of a coconut tree?" Right?
I certainly would not have engaged in the kind of laughter that she undergoes. And I probably would have asked her a question that required the demonstration of significant knowledge. They would have started out that way.
Like you're the AI czar, spell AI. Yeah. Thank you, Doctor, so much.
right.
Such an
Always a
honor to
pleasure.
have you on the program. It's our honor. The great Dr. Ben Carson, ladies and gentlemen. The great doctor. The good doctor. The good doctor. A real doctor. A man whose shoes Dr. Fauci isn't fit to tie. Ladies and gentlemen, we have somebody up next who, let me just say, is one spicy enchilada. She's somebody who knows how to make a brisket, she knows how to cut a brisket, and she knows how to trigger the libs unlike anyone who's ever existed. The great, the unimpeachable, the spicy Alina Haba joins the program right now. Oh, look at this drip. Hold up now. What is this? What is this drip? What?
This wonderful woman. Listen, this wonderful woman. I'm in the store like a fan.
Oh, yeah. Hello.
And this lady's
Iowa.
over here in this jacket. I go, what is that jacket and where do I buy it? She reaches in her bag. Deborah from Iowa. She's from your state.
Oh, yeah.
So Deborah from Iowa reaches in her bag. She goes, take my jacket. I go, no, I'm not taking your jacket. Take my jacket. I go, I can't do that. You can send me a jacket. It's very nice of you. Take my jacket. I go, listen, I'm going to wear your jacket on Benny tonight because it is so fire. I'm so ready, and goddamn, I'm sick of wearing a suit. So I'm excited. I'm excited. Thank you, Deborah. I love my jacket. Team Trump, baby, all the way.
Team Trump, baby.
We're ready.
Team Trump.
I'm
Get
being
up
trolled.
here.
I'm
No,
being
you're getting
trolled
up
by
here.
a Trump.
No way. No way. No. Can we get the rap music? Can we get the rap music and can we get the rap music for Eric?
He doesn't dance
Can
as
we
well
get
as
the
I do.
music? Entry music for Eric. Yeah. Eric Trump, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Amazing.
Benny, I don't have
Amazing.
rhythm.
He doesn't.
I lack rhythm.
I've
a
seen
white
your father
boy.
dance.
He's a good
I've
dancer.
seen your dad
He's a
dance.
good
You must have
dancer.
gotten some of those genes.
A little bit.
No, says Alina. No.
What is this?
You got one move. This one.
The fist pump.
Yeah,
no,
it's true.
it's actually one move. It's called fight.
Fight! Fight!
That's true.
Fight!
That's
Fight!
true.
Fight!
That's true. Okay.
Yes.
Touche, Trump. Touche.
We got sparklers today, man.
I love it.
We got sparklers ready to roll.
We don't
You're
need
up-
sparklers. I have this jacket.
You're
There we go.
upgrading this production.
So here's what's gonna be my question now to both of you, because you've both done it. You've stood in the middle of these rat-infested, crime-ridden, liberal hellholes while Donald Trump is being politically persecuted, legally persecuted. You've stood there in front of a phalanx of press, 5 deep and 5 high, and you've defended Donald Trump. You've done it across the nation. I know you've done it in downtown Manhattan. Stop traffic. I watched it live. That is really, really something that only a brave person could do, especially early on. And Alina, you were out front early on. Alina was like the lady in front, right? And man, that's like energy. That's bravery. Like it's that bravery is contagious.
Well, I have to tell you, part of that is because I had people like Eric Trump, Don, and his family behind me. So I'm going to speak tomorrow about this, but I think that everybody needs to understand that you are only as strong as your leader.
Yes.
So the problem with our country right now is we have a cancer, we have a tumor, we have a sick person at the head of the office, and our country cannot get well until we take that cancer and that tumor out, and we put Trump back in.
Yes.
And that's the truth. So I absolutely have to say that everything that I am today is because I have a strong leader. I have a strong family backing me. That includes Eric. As bad as he is a dancer, he's a great, you know, when I got my first hit piece, it's incredibly difficult what the left-wing media will try and do to you. And it's amazing because you'll find strength when you look at somebody like President Trump who gets shot in the ear and then gets up and goes, fight. So, you know, what else can we do but fight with him? If you're, you know, sink or swim, let's go.
Yes, let's go. And he said, let's go. I mean, I know you told the story yesterday, but it still is jaw-dropping that straight from the hospital, President Trump's like, we're going to Milwaukee.
Yeah, no, that's right. Listen, Donald Trump likes warriors, and everybody out here, we're all warriors, because there isn't a single one of us watching or out here in the crowd that hasn't been censored, hasn't been ostracized, hasn't been attacked. And honestly, to what Lena was just saying, this girl has more backbone than 99.99999%
yes.
of the toughest men CEOs. I don't care. She'll go toe-to-toe with anybody. And she fought viciously the last year. I mean, you definitely need a vacation, but
3
she
years,
lost.
Trump. 3 years.
She's fought viciously out there on the street, in the courthouses, and we love her to death for it, seriously. I mean, as much as I crashed your little interview, she's as tough as they come, and we really appreciate you, and we're thankful to you.
Thank you.
I wanted to get your story. We've been asking, but where were you when you saw that moment? We'll all relive it forever. 9/11 is one of those moments. The JFK assassination is one of those moments for those who were around. You'll always remember where you were. Where were you?
You know, it's actually perfect that Eric's here for this story. I was in the car with my daughter, who's 8 years old, and my daughter knows President Trump like you would know an uncle or grandpa. She sees him a lot. I live in Bedminster where he summers. He's always so inclusive of my family. So my friend who's here, Siggy Flicker, called me and said, President Trump's been shot. And my daughter put her hands on her ears and started shaking her head and said, Mommy, tell me he's okay. And I panicked. And, you know, you stupidly call him. It was the first person I called. I was like, well, I'm just going to give him a ring and see how he's doing. Obviously, he was a little busy. You know, he was actually busy going fight. He was not crying for himself. Yes. But then I called Don. I spoke to Don. I spoke to Eric. And I'm going to be honest with you, Eric can speak to it. I might be tough as nails, but I hysterically cried. I hysterically cried on the phone. It's true, but I love that man. And he is a part of my family. He's made me a part of his family. I'm so blessed. And I'll never forget it. I'm sure he'll never forget telling his lawyer to buck up, but that is actually what happened.
Oh, wait, what did he tell you?
Stop crying, Haba.
No way!
No, she was in. Listen, we were
This
all
is such
in
an Eric
hysteria,
Trump
right?
move.
We were.
Such an
It
Eric
felt
Trump
like somebody had punched you in the gut. You just watched the unthinkable on TV, but she calls, and it is true hysteria. I go, Haba, stop crying. You know, like, Get your act together. Stop crying. And I mean, at that point, I was enraged. At that point, we knew he was. At least he was on his feet. He had blood coming out of his ear and pouring down the side of his face, but at least he was on his feet, and at least at that point he was defiant. But what a horrible moment! What a horrible moment!
Tragic.
But I can tell you the whole tone of everybody, and I think I might have said this to you yesterday, but I did 17 interviews today. I've probably done close to the same amount today, and this is MSDNC, and this is CBS, ABC. I mean, all the people who have never, all the CNNs, people who have never treated us with any respect, people who have just gone after us from the day that he came down the escalator. These people never liked us. They never respected us. They treated us like hell. And I have to say, I've never seen the level of respect that I've seen over the last couple days.
Yeah, he's right.
Wow.
In every single interview, I've actually commented. Every single time. Thank you. Thank you for the kindness. Wouldn't it be really nice if this was kind of the new recipe in this country? Hey, we can disagree. You can disagree on 2 issues. That's fine.
Wow.
But there can also be some level of respect, some level of civility, some level of mutual understanding that there can often be issues that are hard. You might sit here, I might sit here. And it's actually been incredibly refreshing. I mean, aside from a couple pricks, and there's always a couple pricks, I just have to say that. Aside from
That's a legal term, by the way.
That's a very legalistic term. Aside from a couple pricks.
High level.
We
high
saw
level.
we saw you.
99% of people, including the people who have always really just been horrible to us, have treated us with such respect, and I hope that could continue. I really mean that.
Eric, we saw the video of you and Don bouncing the MSNBC reporter on day 1.
How epic
You
was
both
that?
said, "Get out of here!"
Well, this guy runs up to us. He shoves microphones in his face. He's like, "Tell me you didn't lock children in cages." And Don's like, "You mean Obama?" And I'm like, "Listen, Don, it's MSDNC. Just ignore this guy. We're about to, I'm about to cast the final delegate vote to put my father over the threshold."
Man, what a
And
crowd.
make him the Republican nominee for President of the United States. And this guy is hounding us about apparent children in cages that we know nothing about. I mean, this is the best
But
of
you
the
know what?
modern
They're
media,
tone
guys.
deaf. I think
Okay.
that's what the point is. They're tone deaf.
Can you please confirm for the internet out there who were all questioning a shot of your brother saying Don Jr. has finally cried on camera? There was a shot of him when your father
I saw
walked
that.
out with the UFC entrance on night 1, and there was this emotional shot of your brother. 1, was that true? Was Don Jr. actually trying? 2, did you tell him to buck up?
Yes,
Right?
Don
Give him a
cried.
punch.
Don
You
was
yell at him
pouring
like me.
tears.
Okay.
I just have to say that
We have it
Don,
confirmed.
Don pretends to be a macho man, but he's got a big heart. He's got a huge soul. I'll
By
actually
the
tell you.
way,
I'm going to tell you a very
100%.
embarrassing story about Don right now. This was 15 years ago. The Notebook had just come out. Has anybody ever seen the?
No!
Oh man, I came back from college and I walked into the house. We were living in the same house at the time. I walked into the house and Don is just sitting there and there are tears running down his face and he's like, and I go,
You're
what the
gonna
hell is
get
going on?
killed
Did
for
somebody
this.
just die? And he's literally, and I turn around and he's watching The Notebook with his then girlfriend Vanessa, who's now his wife. And I've never let him live it down. So yes, Benny, Donnie was crying. He was crying like a little baby. 100% he was crying.
Well, our show's going to get Don's going to cancel our show. It's very scary,
For
actually.
what it's
hearing these
worth,
stories.
guys, I'm sorry to tell you, I've seen Eric Trump pretty upset too.
Okay.
And it wasn't about the Notebook. It was in court. So it was worth it. He was upset for his employees. But there are things that moves all Trumps. And that's the
That's
truth.
true.
They're human beings. Remember that.
Joking
So
aside, that was an amazing moment.
Yes.
Listen, 48 hours earlier, if he didn't move his head, by centimeters, he would have been dead. And then he walks into the crowd of the most incredible people we have in this country, all of you. All of you. He walks out there, and honestly, there are tears. And go back and listen to the lyrics of that song at some point. It's so perfectly described, that 24-hour period of time. And honestly, we were all emotional. We all were holding back tears. The whole room, half the room was crying, and everybody else was holding back tears, trying to be the tough guys that we all pretend that we are. It was a beautiful moment, certainly one that I'll never forget. And yes, Black Lives MAGA.
I love that. I want one of those.
I want that
the
shirt.
All right,
I love
amazing.
that. Oh, I saw you earlier. I love that. You showed me that. That's great.
Okay, so moving forward to victory. This has got to be a pretty unbelievable moment.
Yeah, we've had a good week.
I mean, but you've
Outside
had.
of the assassination
I mean,
attempt, I think
but
we've had a very good
it's
week.
like you've come from the pits of hell.
Yeah.
And you never wavered, and you marched on, happy, joyful warriors.
Yeah.
And when everything was set against you, Alina Habba is like the one woman who's like standing out in front of these courthouses. We all saw her, right? Defending the president in the belly of the beast.
You know you're wrong about one thing.
And it's gotta feel
One
so.
thing, Benny.
It's gotta feel so
It's
good
America.
right now.
It's America I'm defending.
That's right.
It's the Constitution.
I want to ask where, like, it's got to feel so good, but you don't want people to get complacent. And there's so much great energy and such a great vibe in this room and all around. But you don't want people to get complacent. How do we win? How do we make sure that we carry that energy through, right? Not through the wall, right?
Well, I think there's a lot of, I mean, I'll tell you right now, our fight is very, very far from over. I think that our fight is really going to start when we get back in the White House and the administration. We have to clean up. We got to take a serious vacuum cleaner to certain things like the Department of Justice.
Oh, I thought you meant the coke in the White House. Because
No,
you want to vacuum the cocaine out of the White
but
House.
the Trump family doesn't do that. Otherwise, they
you
would have
know-
already been in jail, unlike Joe Biden's son. But here we are. No, honestly, we got to get there to do the work. So we're not complacent because he's not complacent. You know, anytime I'm tired, I look at him, I look at them, and they're going, we're good. So, everybody good? Just got indicted. 34 counts. Al Capone won. Me, 34. No problem. Haba, get out there. I'm like, okay, yes, sir.
That's what he says. He says, Haba, get out there.
Haba, get out there. Go. But you know what? The truth is, he's right. Go. Fight.
Yes.
It's time. It's our time. Because for our children, we're going to lose America if we don't keep fighting. We really are.
Yes, yes.
You know, the pendulum moves in interesting ways in life, and I've kind of seen this over the last, 20 years, but certainly over this political journey. And there are days that they feel so damn low, and then there are times where you feel so high. And I think in the last, 96 hours, I had two of those within a 48-hour period, right?
Wow.
You have the pendulum that's over here, and you don't know if somebody's alive or dead. And then you have the pendulum over here where you walk out and you literally have just the love and energy that we've all felt for the last several days as we've been here. And
yes.
the love that we're going to feel tonight and the love that we're going to feel tomorrow when Donald Trump takes the stage and I take the stage and we all take the stage.
And
But
I take the stage.
life is a great pendulum.
And Alina
it
takes
really
the
is.
stage.
And,
Haba's taking the stage.
and we've seen those lows and we've seen those highs and we're certainly on a high right now. But just, if I can warn everybody of one thing, they will have their tricks. They will have their October surprise.
Yeah.
Mark my words. Remember this video right now. The Democrats will have something up their sleeve, and I hate to say that because I hate to be a negative person. They have done it every single cycle for the last 40 years. They'll have another Russia hoax or another dirty dossier that they drop at the last minute to try and discredit somebody, to try and ruin their lives. They don't care if they ruin lives. They don't care if they take down families. They don't care if they bankrupt interns that worked in the White House who just wanted to do a great job for the United States of America. They don't give a damn. They care about one thing, and that one thing is power. And just remember that they have tricks up their sleeve, so never think we're ahead. Never, ever think we're ahead. Let's run like we're behind, and let's creep up on them like we did in 2016. We could do that again.
Yeah.
But let's run from behind.
Yes. So I just wanted to get a really quick thought as the president's son from you, Eric, and it'll be a personal question, but as a president's son, Hunter Biden's the new chief of staff at the White House.
Well, I mean, he's the smartest guy that he knows. He's the smart, Now you have,
By the way, he probably is.
you have cocaine all over the place, massive drugs, prostitution,
I mean, he's
all
got
sorts of
Kamala
problems.
and him, so what do you
You're
expect?
getting money from Ukraine for natural gas, which he's against in the United States. I mean, why not let your son sit on a board of an energy company, the very same energy that you happen to be totally fundamentally against in our own nation, and get paid millions of dollars? I mean, why not take money from China and in Romania and every country around the world? I mean, but yet he's the smartest guy he knows. I mean, guys, it's a joke, and he probably is running the White House, and all the reports say that he's the one person who's pushing Biden to not get out of the race.
Yes.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to go to jail.
Because you'd be in jail.
Because you're going to jail.
Because you'd be in jail.
Still the greatest political line of any debate in history.
Without question. Yes. Without question.
I like her.
I mean, maybe rivaled by I don't know what he just said. He doesn't know what he just said.
I don't know what he just said.
That was a good one.
I don't think he knows what he just
Yeah,
said.
that's right.
You beat Medicare. You beat it to death. That was a great line. I love that.
I also didn't know that I worked for Vice President Trump, but I found that out last week. Thanks, Biden.
You're such an incredible spokesperson for President Trump. I think we all love Alina Habba. I have a question that everybody's asking, every person watching, hundreds of people, thousands and hundreds of thousands on the stream. Will you be White House press secretary?
Oh. I don't know. I was actually asked this for the first time today. Somebody asked me if I would go in the administration. I'll say this. I believe in God. I think God put me here at the place I am today for a purpose. I believe that everything happens for a reason. And I believe that if that's part of God's plan, then that is what it is. But I'm going to follow my great President Trump wherever the hell he goes. I'll tell you that right now.
That sounds like a yes. That's you'll have a lot of office cleaning to do when Karine Jean-Pierre, you kick her out of there.
I'll have better outfits, that's for sure.
Bring your Narcan.
Eric, that's straight savage. So, final question for Eric. You're going to be speaking in 24 hours. Your brother speaks tonight. Give us a preview of the message here. And then please, we've all read the reports. Apparently, your father's rewritten his entire speech. Can you give us some previews and some insights as to what's going to happen?
Listen, my father's speech is beautiful, and as is mine, right? I mean, you'll have a lot of senators take the stage, and they're the most incredible people. You'll have a lot of congressmen and women take the stage, and they're incredible people. But, you know, it's very hard for those people to talk to the heart and soul of why somebody did that, right? And they weren't standing by his side. They weren't shoulder to shoulder with him as he got viciously attacked every single day for the last 8 years. I was the guy that received every one of those subpoenas. I was the one that took half of those arrows. And I was also the guy that saw him suffer in his personal life, right? I mean, he did not need to do this. Mark my words. We have an unbelievable woman with us tonight. She runs Trump Doral. Carrie will attest to the fact, and by the way, she's going to be speaking tomorrow. Yes. She can attest to the fact that my father's life is exponentially better on the golf course at Doral, having a great time in the most beautiful hotels, the most beautiful golf courses, wineries around the world. They're getting savagely attacked by these maniacs, by sitting in courtrooms that I froze my butt off, that Alina froze her butt off in every single day. And I can talk to that sacrifice, guys. He did not need this job. There are a lot of politicians that need the job. They need it. They go in, they're worth nothing, and they come out and they have houses in Martha's Vineyard. We know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Clinton was bankrupt.
Amazing.
Clinton was bankrupt, and now they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars, reportedly. They made their entire fortunes. They made their entire livelihoods on the back of Washington, D.C. My father has lost billions of dollars based on the fact that he wanted to run for president, and after it was over, guess what he decided to do? He decided to do it again. And that's a story that only I can tell. That's a story that only a son can tell. I love the man. I'm proud of the man. The guy's got the greatest cojones I've ever seen. He's got more backbone than any person I've ever met. And I'll stand on the stage with him until I'm dead, until they take us all out. I will stand on that stage with him because I love him, I believe in him, and he's done an incredible job for the United States of America. So,
the great Eric Trump, everyone!
I like this.
Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Mic drop. You want to stay up? Ladies and gentlemen, bringing up the indomitable, the uncancelable, the man who red-pilled an entire generation and said, "You're gonna like it, baby," Charlie Kirk!
Oh, yeah.
With the swag, show the people. Look at this shirt.
Mine's better. No, yours is
Look
better.
at this shirt.
Yours is better. His is better.
My shirt's better.
What a shirt. Ooh, that's good music.
I think which shirt is better, everybody?
His is better.
Benny's or mine?
I vote for his shirt.
I think mine's
I do.
better.
I have to
Don't
vote
you
for
think?
his shirt.
Sorry,
what
Benny.
do you need?
Can you do a
do you want
Trump
me to
dance
sign
for us?
that? 100%.
There we
Hold
go.
on 1 second.
Okay, hey.
You're right. It looks like Iwo Jima. You're right.
Charlie, it's been an exciting day
Benny.
or two.
Yeah, it's something going on here. I don't know what it is,
It's
but
an exciting day.
everyone seems pretty excited. So tonight, J.D. Vance speaks. I'm thrilled.
Charlie,
Are we excited for J.D. Vance tonight?
for those who may be unfamiliar with some of the cloak and dagger
Can I see this?
Look
at that, Charlie.
of American politics.
Alina, we
We're
did
so
it.
proud of it. We did it, Joe.
We did it, Joe.
We did it, Joe. We're so happy. We love JD. Honestly, get behind JD.
Yes.
Guys, I know he's newer to you, but I can tell you I know him personally. So does Charlie. So does Ben. Listen, he's what we need. He's what we need. Trump Vance is going to win. We're going to clean house together. It's going to be epic.
Well, he has all the right enemies, and all the right
Perfect.
people are pissed off about this.
Perfect.
Liz Cheney's very angry.
Is she
Shocking.
speaking?
She's so angry.
She
No,
chose not
she's
to come. She's a rhino.
She's checked herself into the clinic for antidepressants. So
She's going to be at the Democrat convention, probably.
she probably will be. But for those unfamiliar, I think it'd be hard to overstate how much of an ally Charlie Kirk was to J.D. Vance in pushing for this selection, and this must be a triumphant 24 hours for you, sir.
Alina, was I pushing for J.D. Vance?
Never heard of it.
Never
Shocked.
heard of it.
Shocked. Yes, he
Look,
was. Honestly, he was.
I did a small thing. The president was the one that deserves the credit. Here's what everyone has to understand, is that the worst people on the planet were trying to take out J.D. Vance. And Donald Trump had to make a decision. And the decision is, do I do the safe thing that all of these major corporations and globalists want, or do I trust my instinct and go with an America First conservative? And he chose J.D. Vance. And that is courageous. It is him standing with his base, and it is a strategic selection. So all the credit goes to Donald J. Trump.
100%.
And he, again, I did the easy part, which was just try to advocate for a friend.
I think that Kamala Harris has proposed a debate date for J.D. Vance.
I don't think so.
And
Is she going to get COVID?
I think that's going to go badly for her.
Breaking news: Chuck Schumer is now calling for Biden to step aside. It's going to be.
Is that true?
Yeah, I saw
Really?
I don't know if that's applause or if we should be a little bit,
Yeah.
because the walls are closing in on Joe Biden. It's going to be very. Schumer is very powerful. He is one of the 5 Democrat crime families. Right? You got Obama, you got Clinton, you got Pelosi, you got Schumer, and then the 5th one kind of floats around. You could say it's Biden, but they aren't really one of them. But to have one of the crime families turn against, so I have a whole theory is that because of Trump getting shot in the assassination attempt, this all was supposed to happen over the weekend. This Schumer-Adam Schiff combo today, but it got pushed back a couple days. So we are now seeing what was actually previously scheduled over the weekend.
Wow. So how many IQ points does J.D. Vance have on Kamala Harris?
Double.
All of them. All the
was
IQ.
once
He has
will
all the
not
IQ.
be.
It's an
In
interval
the
of.
future, what was will not be in the future
Well,
has
but
been.
I'm making a prediction.
Yellow school bus.
did you-
J.D. Vance
Did you
will
fall
be
out of a coconut tree?
I don't know.
J.D. Vance will be debating Pete Buttigieg.
You are
Whoa.
confident in this?
No,
Oh.
I mean I think it's the most logical VP for them is
Yeah.
Harris Buttigieg.
Yes.
Most unlikable combo that you could possibly present to the American people.
Okay, well,
Wow.
let's go.
the
Yeah,
Venn
Venn
diagram.
diagram.
Let's
That's
go.
right.
He'll wipe the floor with them. I'm not
Just
worried.
really quickly before we move from JD, I did want to give you an opportunity because some people don't know him, right? Some people aren't familiar. He's very new to the very fresh to the political scene. Why go so hard in the paint for JD? Talk us through JD.
I could tell you. First of all, he's a great person, but I'm going to tell you a story that I think will resonate. This is the grassroots, humble nature of JD. We just hosted a big event in Detroit, as you guys know. We had Donald Trump, who was amazing, almost 10,000 people. And JD had his 10th wedding anniversary that weekend. He wasn't able to make it until Sunday. He said, Charlie, I'll come Sunday. I said, great. So I said, hey, Lauren, when's JD speaking? What are the details? When his arrival? She's like, well, it's a little weird. He's driving himself from Columbus, Ohio. And I was like, okay, well, who's the staff driving? He said, no, he's driving himself. This is a guy.
To Detroit?
This is a guy who's a finalist for the VP, driving 3.5 hours one way, 3.5 hours back, 7 hours, driving himself like he's just a regular dude. This was a couple weeks ago. From Columbus to Detroit, he goes and takes every picture, signs every book. He was by far, the staff independently came up to me, and they said, that guy was the sweetest, best person that we've ever staffed.
Wow.
No, like, just so you understand, there's some of our speakers, Benny's sort of like this. They come in like the Sultan of Brunei. They got, it's like a big posse. They got You know what I'm talking about? They're coming in with like the big wrestling belt, right?
Roasted. Boom,
right,
roasted.
Right.
Boom,
When Benny
boom,
walks
roasted.
in, it's
Boom, roasted. Got him.
It's
Got him.
Not me.
Benny
not me
destroyed,
at all.
never coming back.
That's right.
Never.
When JD walks in, it's just like, hey, it's me. And we were asking, like, where's your staff and all these? Like, it's just me. That is JD Vance. He's the
Stop.
same.
Wow.
A true story. I'm telling you.
Wow.
He's the
Guys, quick, run in the back. I gotta act humble.
Like,
Get in the back.
that is a sitting U.S. senator who knew he was a finalist to become vice president. He didn't, and I said, why didn't you have a staffer? He's like, well, I wanted to give my staff the weekend off.
Wow.
Stop.
I
Bless
kid
that
you
man.
not. So he drove 7 hours round trip from Columbus to Detroit, Detroit to Columbus. Didn't tell anyone about it. Again, and he was so nice and so gentle to everybody, gave an amazing speech. That's who JD Vance
Yeah,
is.
he's very humble.
Hundreds of millions will tune in, either live or afterwards, to listen to JD Vance.
Yes.
And they'll hear him and see him for the first time tonight. Give us a preview of what we're going to hear.
I think you're going to hear his story, which has already connected with millions of people, which is the Hillbilly Elegy. It's a rags to riches story. He grew up in rural poverty. He was abused by his environment growing up. His mom was a drug addict. She had a constant stream of stranger men coming into his life. He was raised by his grandmother, Mama. I bet she gets a mention tonight. And then I think J.D. Vance is going to present a positive vision for the country after he introduces himself of, this is why you should elect this ticket. And again, you have an 81-year-old president, a 78-year-old challenger, and a 59-year-old current vice president, and now a 39-year-old vice president. And that is a dynamic that opens up our party to younger voters.
Yes.
That is the youngest VP candidate since Richard Nixon,
Wow.
with Dwight D. Eisenhower back in 1952.
Wow. You post about it a lot, but you've obviously created some of the ecosystem where Donald Trump is winning the youth vote.
Well, with young men, if only young men voted, which
I'll take care of the rest then.
Young men, are you voting for Donald Trump? If you're a young man, are you voting for Donald Trump? All right.
this guy's going nuts in the front row.
Nuts.
here.
All right.
Don't forget
this
our
is
women.
your moment.
Don't forget our women.
So,
We
Mike.
love it.
So how? Right? What is that? Any Republican winning the youth vote of anything is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow night you're going to see on full display why we are going to do record well with young men. You have Tucker Carlson, Don Jr., and Dana White, then Donald Trump. I mean,
Eric Trump tomorrow. Don's
Eric
tonight.
Trump.
Don's
Oh,
tonight.
Don's tonight?
Don's tonight.
I'm
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Oh, no way.
Eric. Yeah.
oh, so Don's before JD tonight.
Don's
I'm sorry.
tonight, yeah.
I'm all messed up.
Yes.
So you got Eric, but Tucker, Dana, Trump. I mean, that is must-view television, everybody. Tucker, Dana, Trump. I mean, that's as good as it gets. And look, it's cool to be a conservative now. I mean, look,
Yes.
our candidate got shot and then defiantly comes up. I was just on the Young Turks. It was actually pretty good. And I said, could your candidate do this? And he said no. I said, name a candidate. And he's like, well, I like Bernie Sanders. You think Bernie Sanders could do this?
No.
You think Bernie Sanders, after you get shot, would be fighting a Secret Service agent saying, fight, fight, fight?
Yes.
This is a hero that we have not seen in the modern era. And I don't say that lightly. He is an American hero, the likes of which we have not seen. We have grown so accustomed to, in the modern era, our candidates being removed from any sort of adversity or conflict. Back hundreds of years ago, it used to be Roman generals and kings that would go into the field of battle. And he didn't ask for it, but Donald Trump got thrown into a field of battle, the likes of which very few people ever had to experience. You don't know who a person is until the shots start firing. And Donald Trump is something else, I'll tell you.
We watched Donald Trump take the staircase of the first video of him after the shooting was him going down the stairs to Bedminster in New Jersey. And I'm sitting there saying, the guy just got shot in the head, and he does stairs better than Joe Biden.
It's true. It's true.
It's a remarkable thing. You guys notice how the crowd remained calm when Donald Trump got shot? I was trying to figure out why, and Tucker explained it, as Tucker usually does. It's because the leader did not show any panic. People will remain calm in a family or in society if the leader himself shows direction and resolve and purpose. This country is in chaos right now because our leader does not have that sort of focus and precision. Bullets were flying, and the crowd was stoic. You don't see that ever. If there's even there's a stampede, people could have died on the way out of people getting rushed. Instead, bullets were flying and they just stayed focused because their eyes were on their leader. And their leader said everything is okay. That is a man who I want getting the 2 a.m. phone call if Vladimir Putin has an issue with America.
Yes.
This picture is more than an image. It is a symbol of who he is. It is a symbol of our movement, by the way, that we are not going to give up and that our best days are ahead, that you could lie about us and smear us, that you can indict us, that you can convict us, that you can impeach us, but the American worker and the American citizen will rise again. That's what this image is all about.
Beautiful. Really quickly, because I know we are tight on time here, a question to both of you, because I know you're both believers. Is this the most viewed miracle in human history?
I've never heard it framed that way.
Yeah, you got us both speechless. That's pretty hard to do.
The answer is I think yes. I can't think. It was absolute divine intervention, and we need a revival in this country. Don't you agree?
We do, actually.
And
we do.
this image should bring people back to Jesus Christ.
Agreed.
God is not done with Donald Trump, and God is not done with America. He has his hand on Donald Trump, and this image is Genesis 50:20.
Yeah.
What the enemy meant for evil, God will use for good. The enemy meant to try to destroy our president and destroy our movement. The enemy wanted this week to be a funeral and to be chaos and division. Instead, we have joy, gratitude, and celebration.
And unity.
And unity.
And unity.
Beautiful. Alina, same question. Your thoughts on the divine intervention. Charlie, I know that you're tough on time here.
I got nothing else to do but your show, Ben.
All right.
That's
Okay.
the only reason I'm here in Milwaukee.
I can be very quick about it
Yeah,
because I have a
please.
simple answer. There is
Please.
no way God's hand was not on Donald Trump that moment.
Yes. Yes.
There just isn't. It's very simple. I don't care who you believe in, but as long as you believe in something bigger than yourself, you can understand that this is God's plan. We are all here for a reason. I'm here for a reason, so is Charlie. But God knows that, like he said, Donald Trump is not finished, and we need him more than we ever have. America has a cancer, and we need a cure, and that is President Trump.
Yes. Final words, Charlie. I know you've already spoken on the main stage, but after absorbing this energy, which even the corporate media reporters are like, we can't believe how positive it is. There's no fighting. There's this feeling.
Chuck Todd today was like, I'm a little confused. He's like, this is the most positive convention I've ever seen. And
That's
you know
upsetting.
why? It's because we are filled with gratitude, and gratitude makes life sweeter.
Yes.
Because we know that 2 inches could have destroyed this country for good.
And Western civilization.
2 centimeters, 2 inches, whatever measurement you want. It could have eliminated Western civilization. In some ways, this event is an open-air celebration of gratitude to God Almighty that America's best days might still be ahead.
Oh, just beautiful. Just beautiful. Alina, you speak tomorrow before the president. Give us a preview.
I'm so excited. So I'm actually thrilled because I get to speak about something that nobody's ever heard me speak about. I'm not screaming and yelling on courtroom steps. I get to tell you all about my friend. So I'm really excited. I'm going to tell you who President Trump is actually to me. And I think it's important. I think people need to remember I'm a mom. I'm a woman. I'm 40 years old. I believe in God. I have a very diverse background and family. And regardless of my job, I would be voting for President Trump. And I think America needs to know why and who I know. And the person I know is not necessarily always who you see out front. And I'm really excited to tell some of my stories to everybody about the president.
Alina, it's going to be must-watch TV, and
No pressure, Haba.
Tune in.
there will only be 35 million people watching.
Yeah, that's right.
They're like 2 older brothers bullying me, making me nervous. No, you can't make me nervous.
You're going to do great.
I'm excited. I got to tell you, I'm excited.
You should
What
be.
an honor of a lifetime to speak at the RNC, honestly. And could I be speaking for a better president? I'm just so blessed. I am on the right side of history. I know
Trump
that.
is now larger than a president. He has an opportunity to step into a Lincoln, Washingtonian type of figure where we will be talking about him for the next 1,000 years.
100%.
And
Yes.
History will be kind.
his speech
Yes.
Thursday, I think he's going to rise to that moment. God bless you
Yes.
guys.
God
We'll be
bless
streaming
everybody.
live here
God
tonight.
bless America.
We have a
Thank
party.
you, Alina.
You're going to plug our
Thank
party,
you.
right?
Yes.
We have a party here tonight, so after the show, come back, everybody.
I'm
all right, we'll be
going, I'm
streaming.
going.
All
That's
right?
right.
God bless you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Ready to rock.
Jane
Thank you,
fans,
Alina.
everybody.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen. Ooh. So, there is something that I think is so deeply lacking in the movement and in politics writ large. It's something that's lacking certainly on the left, who are filled with absolutely miserable single cat ladies. But it's truly profoundly lacking across, I think, all of the political spectrum and maybe the social fabric of the country, which is the ability to laugh at ourselves, the ability to laugh at current events. And there's a single man who exists on the internet whose laugh is more contagious than any I've ever heard and who keeps us laughing every single day. The great Terrence Williams is here. What's up, King? How we doing?
My brother.
Good.
Thank you. Benny, I love you. Y'all, Benny Johnson is the greatest. Benny Johnson is the greatest.
So, this has been an exciting convention for you.
Yes, it has.
Tell me.
Man, well, first of all, I am a proud black Trump supporter, and I am not afraid to be a black proud Trump supporter. And I'm a proud American first. And I love President Donald J. Trump. And what just happened to him, it broke my heart. Like, I think most of us lost sleep for weeks.
Yes.
I mean, well, not for weeks, but for days. I lost sleep behind this, like, because Donald Trump is a good man. In his 70 years of living, he has never done anybody wrong. He's never committed a crime. He's never harmed anybody. He's never hurt anybody. But as soon as he runs for president, all of a sudden he's the boogeyman. I call BS. And I've met him personally. He does not have a racist bone in his body. He does not have a hateful bone in his body. Trump is a good person. But of course, if you don't like him, then he don't like you. That's just like me and like many people, right? But I'm excited to be here. And, you know, Benny, like this is an incredible moment. And we literally have to save our country.
Yes.
President Trump is not in this for the money.
Yes.
He is not in this for himself. President Trump could literally retire, enjoy spending time with his children, his grandchildren, playing golf, enjoying his luxury hotels, his luxury homes, but instead, Trump is fighting for the American people after everything he's been through. Everything. I'm getting mad right now. I'm getting mad thinking about it. This man Trump gave up his luxury lifestyle to fight for this country and to make America great again. He gave up his luxury lifestyle to fight for everybody, even the people who don't like him. Trump is fighting for them. Because these dummies on the left, they're like little children. You know, you have to do what's best for them because they don't make good decisions. And President Trump is trying to save America for everybody, and gave up everything. Benny, he became president. They accused him of being a racist. Seriously, his character was assassinated. Okay, they accused this man of being a racist. That's a damn lie. Because if he was a racist, why did all these black rappers put his name in their songs? Why was Al Sharpton kissing his ASX, begging him for money? And I can't stand that ambulance chaser. Al Sharpton, slick hair scammer. Donald Trump literally has a photo with Rosa Parks. And you mean to tell me he's a racist? Do you think Rosa Parks would have stood next to President Trump if he was a racist? I don't think so. Jesse Jackson, President Trump helped him out. Do you think Jesse Jackson, a civil rights activist, would have stood next to President Trump if he was a racist? I don't think so. They called him a racist. They impeached him not once, but twice. Once for what? The Russia hoax? Then for making a phone call. Imagine getting in trouble for making a phone call. It is absolutely insanity. That didn't work. That didn't work at all. Then we have 2020. We know what happened in 2020. We know what happened. I don't want to get Benny in trouble. But we know what happened. All I'm going to say is Biden is not the most popular president we have ever had. Okay? That is all I'm going to say. Then that happened. And then January 6th happened. And the Democrats were happy because they're like, yes. Now they're thinking, oh my God, Trump must be over with now. Nobody's going to like him anymore. Then that didn't work. Everybody still loved him and supported him. Then they said, well, okay, this is it. We have to arrest him. We have to come up with some bogus charges. Y'all, Trump has not given up. Even after being impeached, after them trying to cripple him financially, they tried to take his Mar-a-Lago away, all of his luxury hotels, his golf courses. They wanted him to pay $500 million for nothing, for no victim. The money wasn't going anywhere. Who was it going to be paid to? They said, oh, Trump, you got to pay $500 million for paying back all your business loans. It's BS, because they said he lied on his loan applications, right? But he paid his loans back. So who's the victim? Nobody is the victim. Then that happened. And they wanted him to pay all that money, but he didn't have to. Then they said, then here comes Big Fanny, Fannie Willis. Here comes the ghetto DA from Georgia. She's a ghetto ratchet DA, sleeping with her employees. You freak a leak. Why are you sleeping with your, what? You know how y'all, literally, a woman who is having booty calls with her employees is trying to put President Trump in prison for the rest of his life. Why don't you go on another booty call, Fannie Willis, with your boyfriend Wade and leave our president the hell alone? A RICO charge? A RICO charge? Y'all, I'm going to be honest. I hope I don't get questioned. But I know people, and I hate that I'm saying this on television, but it is what it is, because I have to keep it real. There are people that I have been friends with in the past. There are some family members that I am aware of that have committed so many crimes. They never been hit with a RICO, though. But I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't be surprised if they got one. But no, they will never get one because they're too busy going after an innocent man who's done nothing but fight for this damn country. I'm not done. Then that happened. Then they convicted him of 34 phony felonies. 34. These dumbass Democrats can't even count the 34. 34 felonies. Then they wanted to, his sentence was actually supposed to be a few days before the RNC convention, right? Then that got pushed back. Presidential immunity came up and they say, oh, well, Trump, we can push it back. Yeah, you're pushing it back because you have nothing. Then that happened. And we're all happy about that. Then he gets shot. Then they shot President Trump, our president. And he is still in this fight. After being shot, he is still, do y'all not know there are a lot of people in some professions in law enforcement, after they're shot, some of them give up. They say, I can't do this anymore because they have children, they have a wife at home, and they're like, this is so dangerous. I know some law enforcement, I know some people in law enforcement who have retired because they were tired of putting their lives on the line because they had children to go home to. And with these Democrat policies, you know, they lost all hope. But imagine being almost murdered in cold blood. And then the next day you say, I'm not giving up. In that moment, after being shot, what did Trump say? Fight, 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 fight. Hold on. Y'all, are these 10 people the only ones who knew what he said? Because I want everybody to say it. What did Trump say? Fight, 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 fight. And that is exactly what he has always been doing.
Preach. That was amazing.
Oh, Benny,
When is your speech?
I'm not speaking at the RNC.
When is your speech?
I'm not speaking. My speech is right now on the Benny Johnson show.
All right. This could say Trump Williams.
Yeah, hey. But
you do a great job. You do such a good job debating Kamala Harris.
I would shut that laughing hyena up. She the dumbest vice. Y'all, think about this, y'all. Think about this. Kamala Harris is the first female vice president and the first black vice president. Well, Joe Biden said he was the first black female vice president the other day. He did say that. Yeah.
Yes, he did.
He did. You know what's crazy about Joe? Like Joe would make these gaps, but he never corrects himself. He never corrects himself, do he? He said, I'm the first black female vice president ever served under a black president. Joe, you still going? Did you not just hear what you just said a second ago? And you still going on? But Kamala's the first female vice president, the first black female vice president. How are you the first black vice president and the first female vice president, and nobody likes you? Like, that's supposed to be history, right? That's supposed to be this is like supposed to be history. But no, Kamala Harris is so unpopular. Not only is she the first of that, but she is the first hyena vice president we have ever had. Y'all, this is the first time in history we have had a hyena in office. I mean, the founding fathers would be pissed the hell off. We got animals running the damn country. No. But seriously though, y'all, I want to get real deep with y'all right now, okay? Because you have to understand something. Benny, I want you to listen too.
I'm listening. I'm just going to put my mic.
You have to understand what has been unburdened by what you can be unburdened by. Absolutely. She come up with the dumbest stuff.
Did you fall out of a coconut tree?
Yeah. You think I just fell out of a coconut tree? No, seriously, is Kamala smoking weed every day? She got to be smoking marijuana. It's legal in California, right? She getting high on the job. She's either high or she is just the dumbest. Not even the dumbest woman, but the dumbest person in office right now. Literally. It is a total embarrassment, and I hope, listen, we know Trump is going to win, and he's going to win in November. He's going to win in November. If something happens to Joe, then Kamala, she may be president for a good 4 or 3 months, right? But she don't even deserve to be president for 2 days, not even for 30 damn seconds, okay? I don't want Joe in office, and I don't want Kamala in office either. But I don't want her to be president, not even for 2 months. If they replace Joe, I hope it's not with Kamala. I hope it, but that would be a funny debate between her and Trump. Oh my goodness.
Yes, that would be.
But
an
I'm
amazing.
ready for a Vance. I'm ready for a Vance and Kamala debate. You know, and I didn't know much about Vance. Okay? And I'm gonna keep it real, because you know, Benny, I keep it real, okay? You know, this is my thing here, y'all. Regardless of what you feel about Vance, he was chosen by President Donald J. Trump. And it is what it is. There is nothing you don't like it, there's nothing you can do about it, okay? But for anybody that say that they don't know if they can trust Vance, we thought we could trust Mike Pence. So sometimes the ones that you think you can trust, you really can't trust, okay? And I believe President Trump has always made the best decisions for this country. And I don't believe, and after everything he's been through, and listen, there has been a lot of snakes around Trump, okay? But they all have been spotted. Most of them have. But Trump, his eyes are open right now, especially after being shot. So if he trusts J.D. Vance as his vice president after being shot, then it is Trump Vance 2024 for me.
Woo! Terrence, and I'm sure everybody follows Terrence's videos, Terrence on social media.
I'm sorry. I didn't even let Benny talk on his own show.
It has been
I'm sorry, Benny.
It has been a heavenly break, actually, so thank you, Terrence.
Thank you, Benny, for having me on.
No, I want to just real quickly.
Okay.
You've always been able to read a room. It's what makes you an incredible stand-up comedian.
Yes.
It's what makes you such a powerful voice. And since you've been at the convention, and for the hundreds of thousands of people watching, and for everyone here, read this room for us. Like, tell us about the energy here, and give us that message for Donald Trump through November.
Well, the energy in here is way better than the energy from 2020. I know that for sure. A lot of people now know that this is the most, I feel like this go around, I feel like everybody knows that this is the most important election, probably ever, the most important election. And people are desperate to save this country. That's what I feel. I feel like people feel, being here is like, people feel like they have to come out because they have to save this country. People are not just here for Trump. People are here because they want to show everyone else around the world that they want to save this country and to show their support for President Trump. President Trump, we love him because he loves America. That's that. People think we love Trump because he was a celebrity. Are you freaking stupid? Come on. Yes, we love celebrities. We love celebrities. There are a lot of celebrities. But we love Trump not only because he is the American dream, like Barack Obama said. Obama said that. I can't stand his black ass. Don't let me go down there. Back to what you were saying. Okay? Focus, Terrence. Because when I get to talk about Obama, I go off on him. Because he is such a damn scam artist. He is. Obama talked about change and didn't change a damn thing. President Trump is going to make a change in this country. The change that Obama claimed he was going to make, Trump is going to make that change. And he was trying to make a lot of changes, but these crooked ass Democrats were trying to shut him down since he came down those escalators. But the energy is amazing. Everybody at the RNC right now are true American patriots. And there's a lot of the energy. It's a loving energy. Okay? Benny, the media right now is lying. They're saying that everybody at the RNC is racist. They are. They're calling all y'all are racist. I don't know your name, but they're calling all y'all are racist. They're calling everybody a racist. They're saying Trump supporters are dangerous. Well, I'm going to tell you about the energy here. It is an exciting energy. It is a strong energy. People are riled up, but people here are it's a loving energy. These are some of the nicest people I have ever met in my life. I feel like I'm at a family reunion. Benny, all these nice white women been hugging me, kissing me. I done had about 1,000 kisses today. And you mean to tell me they racist? They gonna kiss a chocolate man and they racist? I think they love chocolate here. I'm not gonna lie, huh? Some people gave some extra kisses. I'm like, all right now, Melissa. All right, Becky. That was Becky with the good hair. That was a little too many kisses, Becky. This is turning from love to lust, Becky. You stop it. But Becky is not racist, okay? Becky or Bob. I mean, Benny, some of these women, man, they be like, mwah, mwah, their husband be looking like, they tell me, Terrence, because I love you, I'm going to let this one pass. But Benny, these people are loving, I love Trump supporters because they are real Americans. I love real Americans. I have not met one person who saw my color at all. Only color we see is red, white, and blue. That's all we see. That's all we see. I feel unity, Benny. I feel unity when I'm here. When I've been walking around, Benny, I feel nothing but unity. And that's what we need right now. So Trump needs to know that this is the party of unity. This is not the party of division like the Democrats. It's not. I've never been so welcomed. And I love everybody here.
He loves all of you.
I love everybody.
The great Terrence Williams, ladies and gentlemen, the funniest man on the internet.
Thank you.
And if you ask him to give you a message about Trump, he'll be like, "These white women love chocolate." Didn't know we were going there, but we went there, Terrence. God bless you, man. Thank you.
All right.
Terrence Williams, everybody. In the interest of time, we are bringing on our next two guests, Taylor Hanson and Forgiato Blow. Welcome to the stage, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, boys?
All right. We get a little groovy. I'm the whitest person out here, so.
It's your song. Oh, man. What a vibe. Got to start with this. I got to start with this because I want to start on a positive note, and then we got to get serious for a second, covering your reporting. Positive note. Your video, your rap video with Amber Rose played last night. Welcome to the show. I'm so proud of you, man. I'm so proud of you. Oh, we need one mic. We need mic 3 to be hot.
Check, check.
There we go.
We're here now, you know what I'm saying, Benny? Benny's been on the train, the Blow train helping me out a lot. The Patriots are amazing. Donald Trump was amazing last night. It was great to see DeSantis, our governor, put the song on there and lead it in. It was amazing.
Did you know that was going to happen?
No, I had no clue.
That was a
just sitting
surprise
there.
to you, Forgiato?
I was surprised. I was just sitting there, taking a couple pictures, and I thought I heard a song, and I was looking who's playing on their phone. I look up, it's a jumbo screen. I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
It's got to be a pretty awesome feeling.
It was a great feeling.
That Trump piece was in the video.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your chain that I borrow from time to time.
Okay, so just really quickly, what is that?
So this is
tell
a
the
solid
audience.
gold Donald Trump piece I have made. Tracks NYC made this for me right here.
Show the people. Right there, that camera right
Yeah,
there.
right here. We're changing the culture out here, you know what I'm saying?
So is it solid? So how much gold? What's it weigh?
It's 2,000 grams of gold. 100,000. For Trump, let him know we for real out here.
And it comes with a baguette ring?
Didn't come with it. That was 40.
So can you show the audience that one? Taylor and I got black shirts. That's about it. That's what we got.
I'm feeling underdressed. You know, Haba
That's
hopped
right.
up here, and I'm like looking around. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's a different movement now, man.
I mean, we're out here changing the culture. A lot of people don't understand. Rappers been rapping about Trump since day one. Everybody's been supporting Trump. This is something that the media has kind of changed, not showing it, but the culture's been with Trump. They've been out here supporting, and they're supporting him more than ever now. Trump's got street cred, you feel me? He's taking dodging bullets. He's got 34 indictments. I mean, Trump's a gangster, man.
Yes. It's Trump's a gangster.
Trump's a gangster
It's
now,
good.
baby.
I think you got the new. I think you got a new track that you can work
Trump's
on.
a gangster.
A true artist, also a true artist when it comes to reporting, on the ground reporting. Some of the most dangerous places in the world you've been, Taylor, and you do such incredible work with Tenet Media. Where were you when you saw that shot ring out?
Yeah, so I actually I was watching the stream live,
Yes.
funny enough, and I heard that shot, and I immediately knew what happened. I knew that somebody had just tried to kill President Trump. And
You
then,
heard the bullet?
Yeah, I heard.
You're like,
you
that's
can-
a gunshot?
You can hear the shots, and I know, I've heard it on the ground, in person. I've seen stuff like this, and heart sank. It's like, wow, we're living in completely different times. But then you see him get up, and he throws that fist up, tells the audience to fight, and it's like, man, he just had his bull moose moment. This is insane. And afterwards, the narratives were coming out. I immediately went to mainstream media. And I was like, what are they saying about this? And then you go to CNN, and the article says, oh, Trump fell. He's ushered off stage after he fell. And then ABC, popping noises. And every single mainstream media outlet has this completely wrong, intentionally, obviously. They're essentially running cover for the shooter at this point, which is insane. But we've seen this rhetoric from them time and time again. They want to tell you the right is the violent side. The right is responsible for 90% of political violence. But, I am on the ground 2020, January 6th, whole 9 yards, and it isn't the right. We're not violent people. Every single time that I've ever been subjected or have seen violence in person, it's come from one side, and that's the far left.
Not to jump in there crazy, but look, our president almost has got shot and assassinated. Not one riot. There's not one riot in these streets.
Nope. Yes,
There's nothing
that's
going
right.
on.
Yes,
We're not burning down no
exactly.
buildings. There's no riots. We're sitting back, standing by, and that's why President Trump is really a gangster, because I've been around a lot of rappers, right, with a lot of jewelry, and they walk outside a club and they hear a gunshot, they're gone. Like, oh, man, President Trump sit there and was like, yo, fight, fight. President Trump trying to get his shoes on. He's like, don't even touch the blood. Keep it on. Keep the blood. So it just, but at the end of the day, we're positive people. Like he's saying, there's no riots. There's no problem. Imagine if something happened over there, that someone took a shot at somebody, what they'd be doing? Burning places down, all types of things like that.
So Don Jr. was up on this stage yesterday, and he said the first thing that my dad said when I called him in the hospital, and he's still bleeding from his ear, he goes, they didn't get my hair. My hair didn't get messed up, Don. That's what he said. That's from the president's kid.
I mean, that
so it's like,
embodies-
that's the vibe, right?
It
That's the
embodies the
gangster
perfect-
vibe.
That's the gangster
true
vibe.
gangster.
And what kind of man gets up after being shot at? Being shot successfully, thankfully not too successfully, but he gets up and he tells everybody to fight. The psychological aspect of that is absolutely insane. Anybody that I know on the ground, even reporters that I know that have been through stuff, the natural instinct is to run. It's a fight or flight survival mechanism. But Trump, instead of doing this, surrounded by Secret Service, some that weren't even tall enough to guard him, he instead stands up and he has his bull moose moment and tells the entire world to fight, which is absolutely insane.
And Trump's loved, because one thing you saw, the patriots that were in the back of the crowd, they didn't go nowhere either. They were looking for the people. I saw people getting low looking. I'm thinking like, man, I'm usually at every rally in the front row, and that was the first rally this year I missed because I had a show in West Palm. It was just crazy, but like he said, man, Trump's a fighter. He got on there and kept sticking to what he's doing. I think some people, when you're trying to prove a point and you're so focused, laser focused, you can't get Trump off his game right now. You know what I'm saying? He's focused, man. No indictment can get him off it. No lawsuit can get him off it. No attempted murder can get it off it. Yep. He has a goal, and that's to save each one of us.
Yes. Taylor, you're in some of the most dangerous places on earth. I know you've gone to the border. You've gone essentially to war zones, right? You go deep into enemy territory. Staying calm under fire or in high-stress situations is a gift from God.
Absolutely.
It's a gift that very few have. And I can't imagine being shot on live TV in front of everyone, being Donald Trump, being a billionaire, having literally everything to lose, and coming back up with that alpha energy.
No, it's insane. And you put it correctly. Alpha energy, that's exactly what it was. I've watched shootings in person while I'm on the ground covering these things. The Babbitt shooting I documented. And I wasn't that composed. I've seen things on the ground, physical shootings in front of me. And, this is Trump. He probably hasn't seen anything like this. He probably hasn't experienced anything like this.
He's a gangster, bro.
He's had a pretty great life. No, but he's putting it correctly. This man is a literal gangster. The things that he does, seasoned field reporters that have seen war zones, that have seen death, they don't even have that same reaction to that. So that says a lot about what kind of man we're dealing with here.
Alpha male, like you said, alpha energy. That's what the alpha is, and Trump knows. Look, he's up there. Right now, we all know Donald Trump can stop everything after that and said, you know what, I'm done. I'm packing up. I'm going to enjoy my children. My son just turned 18, just graduated. I'm going to spend time with him. No, he's fighting for all of us. He's fighting for our bank accounts. He's fighting for our family. He's fighting for our lifestyle, and that says a lot about him. He's trying to get his economy back, close his border. He's fighting for us.
What's it like being right? Because you've been a MAGA rapper. Is this the correct nomenclature?
Yes, I'll take that.
Okay,
I love
so
that.
you created MAGA rap.
Pioneer.
You are the MAGA rap. You are the MAGA rap OG. And you were right. Right? You saw this in Trump when everyone else was clowning on Trump or making fun of him or laughing at your tattoos. I know you have a Donald Trump tattoo.
Facts.
Okay.
Now they copy it. They all got the same tattoo.
Well, now, right? So it's like you were so ahead of the curve, man.
Well, I saw I'm a visionary, first of all, like Donald Trump, but we have a lot in common. We both went to boarding school. We both don't drink. We both don't do any drugs. And we both just hustlers. We want to make money. We want to make good times and enjoy our life. So at one time, all rappers really did rap about Trump. People don't realize that. They were at his boxing matches. They were at his hotels. They were at his parties. And then 2016, I was just seeing him. I was like, man, I'm a Donald Trump of rap. Because they could play my video last night in front of millions on TV, and I'll wake up with YouTube taking my video down. And that's something that happens to people like Donald Trump. No matter what door you kick in at this time of his career, being a billionaire, they still have a new door up. You know, and I can't complain about it because when Donald Trump was the president, he wasn't allowed on social media. So how could a president of the United States of this country not be allowed on social media, Twitter, Instagram? So I kind of had a vision for it. At first, it was just about, you know, the lifestyle, the cars, the jewelry, the money, pretty women. That was, you know, a rapper's dream, a boss. Trump was a boss. And once you start really getting involved and seeing everything that's going on and meeting the people and seeing how much love they show you, you really start to care about more than yourself and other people. So I think Trump at one time had a lot about Trump. And then now he's starting to see how many people are around, how many people need him. Like a J.D. Vance. Like J.D. Vance was a never Trumper at one time, right? And Trump, it shows so much character to me for Trump to say, you know what, I'm not going to blackball you. You're the man for the job. You woke up. You're not brainwashed. You're going to stand right here next to me. And I'm going to show it's not about ego. It's about all these people in America that need our help.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Forgiato. The video was with Amber Rose.
Yeah.
Amber Rose spoke at the convention. Some might say that video got her that speaking slot. I don't know, but you're making beats with her. You're making music videos with her, and she's getting a lot of love. She's getting a little bit of hate. But she's getting a lot of love online for her speech. Can you talk about your relationship with Amber Rose, with like what she's about?
Amber Rose is an amazing person. I think when you're in Hollywood, a lot of people don't realize when you want to have the nice things and the attention, at one time they threaten you with your social media following. They threaten you with your next magazine cover. They threaten you with your next paid gig that you're going to. So if you don't push the narrative they want to push, right, at the end of the day, you're not going to have any new things to push or anything about yourself. When I met her, we talked, and she got behind Donald Trump. I've been seeing it, and she told me at one time, she told her speech was amazing, but her father was a Trump guy, and she was saying, hey, you have mixed children. You're racist. This guy's a racist. What's wrong with you? And he sent her on a mission to go look for things that Donald Trump did that were racist. She said by the time she dug so deep, she spent months and months and months digging for more and more and just kept finding more Democrat racist things, right? I mean, look, Joe Biden has said he doesn't need any N-word mayors. Right? Trump's never said that. You don't vote for me, you're not black. He also said, what? I don't want my kids going to intermixed schools or riding on buses. So it's like the words that he was saying, Trump could never, ever say. So Amber Rose, I think it's amazing when people come out like her with their following. At the end of the day, people can say you're doing this for clout. But you got to do it in front of all the patriots and say you were wrong and we were right. And you got to show your face to us. And she's doing that. She's showing her face. She's walking out on stage to everybody. And a lot of people don't understand. We need new voters. We need new people to believe. So if we're sitting here making music and giving speeches to the same people over and over and over and doing Trump wave flags with the same people over and over and the same people buying my music, we're not getting nowhere. So that's what I do. I create a new culture that some people in 2016, 18, 19, they didn't understand what I was doing. But I knew what I was doing, and it's paying off, and it's working.
Yes.
Right? And so a lot of people don't know. It's like if I'm telling you every day Donald Trump's amazing, he's not racist, he loves you, he loves your family, he wants to see you do great things, and you don't believe it, well, 4 years later when you believe it, I'm not going to say, no, I don't want to hear it anymore. You can't join. And that's when people people come out and they do that, it makes the rest of people afraid. So I've seen some people online in our movement hating on Amber Rose, who gave a speech. And a lot of it's because they didn't give a speech, and that's why they're mad about it. But you know what? This is about Donald Trump. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about Donald Trump and America. It's about all of us, our future, our children. It's about, you know, the history that we're doing. We all came a long way. You said you were there on J6. I was there on J6 outside. You know, I've had all my social media taken from me, platforms taken from me because I'm fighting this fight. People think that we're grifters. We're not getting anything by this grift. We're getting deleted. If I had this big movement right now and I told the Democrats, give me a couple $1 million and I'll do what I just did for you for Donald Trump, they'd give me a check. So it's not about a grift. It's about America first.
Oh, no, you're 100% right. It's insane to me that people, talk about the grift, especially with the people that were there on J6 and kind of went through the repercussions of, the media coverage, which is completely false on what actually happened afterwards. Is they literally labeled me, a seasoned field reporter, a domestic terrorist. I was on the Quad S list. Air marshals followed me over 28. They spent over $100,000 of taxpayer money following me and harassing me and my family for 2 years, which is absolutely insane. For a regular American, they're doing this. I believe there was a 4-month baby literally added onto this list. And, these are the people that we're supposed to, unify with. We see this new message online of, unity, unity, unity. And the only reason the left is preaching that right now is because somebody literally just tried to kill President Trump, and they know that, honestly, mainstream media is at fault for this.
You are creating new media. You are doing it through real reporting. We hope you hunt down this Joe Biden donor assassin's history. If anybody can find it, it's the great Taylor Hanson, because we don't know anything about it. It's amazing. A 20-year-old with 0 photos online, 0 social media. It's a miracle.
Well, a lot of that I blame media, because at the end of the day, the media these days can write whatever they want, say whatever they want. They don't get fact-checked. They can get out here and put a lot of this stuff out. This kid could have just read a bunch of stuff about Donald Trump that wasn't true and created a narrative in his brain. How do you even get around with a ladder, with a gun? I've seen videos online that have patriots saying, hey, there's somebody up here, and the video is 10 minutes already going. 10 minutes. 10 minutes already going. They're trying everything they can do with Trump, and we have to keep fighting for him.
We have men up here who are creating the new media, creating new culture, reaching hundreds of millions of new people and red pilling. And boys, it's a fun movement. We're going to win. We're going to win. And my team has a very special song to take us out. The great Forgiato Blow. Download.
Trump, Trump, baby, Forgiato Blow, Amber Rose. Make sure you guys draw the full coverage of the RNC right now. Here we go.
Taylor Hanson. It's been amazing, ladies and gentlemen.
Hit the Trump dance. You do the Trump
dance. Get ready. We're going live with the RNC convention. It's your boy Benny. See ya.